Go get them, boys.
Dude, that's
All right. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday. We got a lot of options expiration. You've seen that volume come in today. I'm with my boy Obi to the right of me. He's stepping in for Sharif. Yeah, guys, good stuff. We're going to wait for some people to start to come into the chat here, Obi. Then we're going to do some roll call. Who do we got here, my friend? It is Friday, so it's going to be a good day, I can tell you that. Nvidia is starting to break out. We got PMG in the house. We got Hath and Yasan. What's going on? Pitchbull, what's up, my friend? Fiddleback, Darwin, my guy. Kalua, how are you doing? I know you've been making some money here lately, and I hope you got that phone that you were talking about. The Piper, Oscarito, Anonymous, what's up? Oh, no, what's up, Joe? Okay, I see how it is. Los Polios, hermanos, mi amigo, ¿cómo estás usted hoy? Jimmy J, who else do we got here? Fabio, Mio, Mr. Out of the Box, Frank Hanley, E-Mad, all right, Klua once again, Ed Miller, Randall Longera, Ricky G, Michael Hanji, and Laura Sanchez. What's going on? It is the duo today, what we like to call Joby. Obi, how you been, brother?
Not too bad, not too bad. How about yourself? How was the morning?
It was good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk about the morning.
Yeah. I see. I wasn't in the morning. I just got in about 10:45.
Okay.
Because the main trade today.
Ooh.
The highest probability trade today.
What is it?
May show up at the close.
Ooh.
So nothing else is really. Everything else to me today is a little bit fugazi, but
lots of contracts.
It is what it is. But the highest probability for me might probably be at the close. I'm willing to take a couple stabs. I've set up, just watching a couple names. I was watching. Yeah. I did do a scan last night. I had some earnings stuff on watch.
Nice.
Mike Ron was pretty solid off of the open. I saw that. Had to be short in the pre-market though to get that flush 4 points right off of the open. Oh boy, that was a beautiful continuation of a gap down short there. And then Nike as well. Nike. Giving a little bit of a chop off the open, but holding that VWAP last time I saw it. But what else was I looking at? I was looking at some China names as well for potential continuation.
Okay.
That didn't really come in today, but the NASDAQ, oh boy, are we bidding up a little bit there. I'm watching this Amazon right now as well. I know you were looking at Amazon, so I was looking at that. Nvidia, we were just called out, attempting to push for day highs, but look at that, just trading within the opening range. Nothing too crazy there. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys are trading, what's in play for you today, and yeah, quad witching. So definitely some interesting stuff at the close. Might be a little spicy. But we're more than capable of taking
hey, we can handle the heat and the spice. Hey, that's what we like to do.
Yes,
yes. All right, guys, let's get right into it here. We'll take a look at what we got going on Nvidia here real quick. If we can pull up my screen, you can see that we're in this. It took multiple attempts to get this really going here, guys. So I punched out right there, a little bit of paper hands, and I got right back in. I'm like, okay, let's play the crack of the high here. I got stopped out here, and then I'm like, okay, it's ready to go. This underlying just has multiple fake outs. That third attempt is usually the one where the ball really starts to get rolling here, guys. So the tape is continuously strong. Nice entry in here. 116.41 we're in at. We got that crack there. How much do we have left here, Obi, before we dive into the lesson? Not much, about 30% left of this position. So we're going to hold that one for the dream, my friend. But let's get right into this lesson, guys. Lots to talk about. We were going over the basics of options yesterday. Now we're going to dive a little bit more into the Greeks and some other key things that we need to know for all those beginners or even experienced individuals out there. And next week, we're going to get into the advanced Greeks, all right? Something that we don't usually talk about quite often. So intro to options part 2, guys. Let's get right into it. So this is what we're going to be going over here today. Options, moneyness, the Greeks, at the money, in the money, out the money, and then some basic options strategies. Okay, guys? So, hey, if you go back yesterday, and then you go back or you stick with us here today and watch this lesson, you have no excuses on the fact that it's like, oh, I'm a little bit scared. Don't worry, we're here with you. I'm in some Amazon calls as well, too, guys. I told you about that. Working out pretty nicely right now. We're going to look to add to this position. All right, guys, let's get right into the Greeks, all right? So, Delta. So first we'll talk about the Greeks and what exactly they are. So they're a metric, right? They're a financial metric used to gauge and how they affect underlying assets like these options contracts, within the options contracts, all right? We're going to get right back into the delta as soon as we get back from Midday.
Great move here for Boeing to the upside. As mentioned here, we're waiting to hear an announcement with regards to a next-generation fighter jet contract worth billions of dollars. Boeing has received this contract. According to Bloomberg, President Donald Trump has awarded Boeing a next-generation fighter jet contract. Again, this is worth billions. Some people are speculating this could be the most valuable contract of its kind. I could not find a stream for this in the White House. It looks like they're not streaming this event, but keep an eye out for potential comments here coming through from Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, with regards to this announcement. Also worth keeping an eye on other defense-related names, including Palantir and I think more chiefly Lockheed Martin, which was also up for this contract, falling to the downside after Boeing receives it instead. So keep an eye on BA and LMT, any defense names with this catalyst in mind. Back to you.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
LMT, that momentum to the downside is absolutely crazy. All right, guys, so yeah, the Greeks are just a financial measure that used to gauge how the options contracts will fluctuate and how it affects it from a day-to-day basis. All right, so delta, the primary Greek, something that we hyper-focus on as options trader, this Greek measures the change in the options price for every 1 point move in the underlying asset or the stock itself. It's also referred to as the rate of change, all right, guys? So delta has a range of negative 100 to 0 for puts and then 0 to plus 100 for calls. So the delta on puts will always be negative and the delta on calls will always be positive, all right? If the contract's delta is 0.8, this means the options price will change 80 cents, all right, in options terms. Using the options contract multiplier of 100 means $80 for every $1 move. If the options contract is valued at $1 with a delta of 80 cents, the underlying asset has a $1 move. That means the options contract will now be valued at $1.80 or $180. All right, guys, fairly simple. All right, so this is just an example here of delta. And you'll see it'll always be kind of at that half level, at that 50% level when you are at the money. And it's also gauged as a percentage metric of where that contract may expire, all right? So you can see here in this example, with these at the money calls and puts, our delta's about 50% here, all right? So we'll go 52%. So what does that mean? There's a 50% chance that this contract is going to close in the money or close out the money. But it's also a gauge in that if it has a $1 move, it's a rate of change. If it has a $1 move, that contract will now appreciate by $52. Okay, so if you can see here on the ask, if we go from 242 to 243.5, so if we go from 242.5 to 243, this contract will now be valued at $16.77. All right, so that's where you get that $50 increase, and that's not including gamma. All right, gamma we'll get into briefly here, all right? So gamma provides you with the expected change in delta for each $1 change in the underlying asset. At its greatest for at-the-money options, decreases after the option contract trades more in the money or out the money, okay? Gamma is always positive, and like theta, gamma increases as you approach expiration. So if you want to reduce your gamma exposure, you go further dated out. And then gamma is also referred to the rate of change is rate of change, right? It may sound confusing, but gamma is delta's delta, essentially, if that makes any sense. Okay, guys? So moving forward. So example, the contract has a delta of 0.7 and a gamma of 0.2, with the underlying asset moving from $100 to $101, the adjusted delta would now be 0.9 or $90. Okay, guys? Very simple stuff. So theta. Options traders love theta, all right? Doesn't necessarily, we don't, as options buyers, we don't really like that too much. That's why I always refer to buying more time, okay? That's exactly what I did with my Amazon calls. I don't want to have to worry about time decay too much, so we go further dated out, reduces our gamma exposure, and we don't have to worry about time decay within the underlying, all right? So theta is the Greek metric that represents time decay in contract values. If stock XYZ is, excuse me, $100 and its 105 call is $1 with a theta of 0.2, in simplistic terms, that means the options contract value will decrease $20 per day. All right. So while theta works in favor of option sellers, theta works against options buyers. All right, guys. So keep that in mind. Vega and IV. You'll see me often refer to this, increased implied volatility, keeping it correlated with the VIX. So Vega is a measure of volatility. Historical volatility is an actual measure of the stock's past price movement. So IB can essentially say, hey, you're looking for a plus or minus percentage range in that specific time period in what the underlying asset can fluctuate, okay? So IB or implied volatility is a measure of the stock's potential price movement. And then a volatility of 30% on a $100 stock determines that you might see a $30 swing to either direction over that extended period of time or whatever that time frame may be. All right, Rho, this is not the most commonly talked about options Greek, but that's okay. So Rho is the Greek that measures the influence of interest rates on an options contract pricing. It does not affect it that much, okay? So based off the risk-free interest rate, usually T-bills, treasury bills here, guys, least used Greek metric and least influential on the contract pricing. Okay, so moneyness, we're going to go over moneyness real quick before we send it over to Obi. Options moneyness is a fancy term of where the contract stands. In order to construct certain option strategies, you need to understand where and what contracts you are selecting. In the money, contract ITM is greater than 0. At the money is equal, it's flat, you're at that money. At that money, yeah. Out the money is less than 0, all right? So if that contract, if you have a $200 strike and the underlying asset is trading at $195, it is $5 out the money and holds no intrinsic value, all right? So here you can see we have all our metrics here. We have delta, IV, and everything along those lines. This is what we want to pay attention to here, guys, on the chain, okay? So strategies, beginner, long call, and put. Simplistic stuff, just buying a put means you have a bearish thesis. A long call just means you have a bullish one. Covered calls, all right. So if you own an underlying asset and you want to start selling some premium against that, if you see a temporary downtrend, then you can sell some covered calls. A protective put, so again, to the downside, you're looking to protect that, and then you can buy some puts on that. And then cash secured put, that is when you are selling options, but you have cash on the sideline to get acquired, to get assigned those options at that specific strike price that you are looking at. We're going to go over the intermediate option strategies in a moment here, guys. Let's see what we got going on. I'll let Obi get ready there. I'm waiting. It's looking like we're going to get stopped out break even here, Obi, on NVDA, but that's okay. Waiting for this to hold. This underlying is really, really tough to trade sometimes, and it's moving eastward. No definitive direction, so you can see a high amount of volume coming out of the open as well here too, guys. So we got to keep an eye out on that, but we are starting to come back into VWAP, and the volume to the downside is also starting to pick up, but that's what we got going on Amazon here, on NVDA. This is what we had going on Amazon earlier in the day. It's unfortunate that we missed the majority of the move, but I liked it here. You can see that we opened at the top of the range, and then I should have added to the position, but I did not. And then I actually hit an all out here by accident, which was slightly frustrating, but that is okay. So yeah, nice 2 trades, and I have one more on TQs here, guys. Didn't get much out of it. Again, I took some off here, and then I got stopped out break even, and then the market was just kind of moving sideways. I'm all out of NVDA right now, so not a horrible trade. I don't want to mess around with this underlying too much. We got the move that we were somewhat looking for, so we'll be patient. It seems that it wants to be slightly choppy, but I do like that FXI is breaking out here, Obi.
I'm watching just both Boeing and LMT, both here. Oh boy.
You're muted, brother. Yep.
No, it should be open. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, yeah. So I'm just watching both Boeing and Lockheed Martin right now on that fresh news. As that comes in, you can see LMT taking quite a bit of a sell-off here. 480 is a little bit of an undisturbed price. Let's see what that specifically is right here. So the high coming in at 478-ish, 478.07, and then flushing down, trading to a low of 436.77s here. So yeah, a pretty strong move there. Market's taking a bit of a pullback off of that 19.8 as well. But yeah, Boeing distinctly different here as it ticks up to the upside. So what am I going to do? I want to put on a little bit of that anchored VWAP, not only just on Boeing, but on LMT as well, to see if we can get an opportunity if price can kind of come back in. Already, we're seeing that Lockheed Martin kind of rejecting its anchored VWAP off of the event here as of right now. So let's see if we continue to see more of the same. 450, a little bit of a confluence level there on LMT as well as it trends down a little bit here. So I'm going to be continuing to watch. I'm going to continue watching both of these names here to see if there's any opportunity. Off of the news, though, oh boy, that was the moment to get in. Punch short on LMT, punch long on Boeing. Both of them looking decent for continuations as of right now. You can see Boeing, nice little consolidation. It's looking like it's flagging underneath or on top of this 180, however you want to look at it here. Let's go to a higher time frame real quick and see the 182s. Let's see where we have some resistance here, 184s, 182. So yeah, we're cranking up as of right now here on Boeing as well. So don't really want to chase the move too aggressively as of right now, but I'm going to stay patient and see if it presents me with another opportunity here. Just a little bit of a dabble here on Intel. Let's see if this one can continue to the downside here towards VWAP. But before that, let's see what Adara has to say.
As we get this pushed down in the market, it's worth noting that we have comments coming through from Feds Williams saying the U.S. central bank is not in a hurry to make the next monetary policy decision, saying that it has become harder to forecast the outlook currently, noting that downside economic risks and upside inflation risks are, quote, both very high. So we have a bit of a push down in the market as Feds Williams flags some risks with regards to inflation, the economy, and saying it's a little bit harder to predict where the market's going to go with regards to these rates. Also saying that how the Fed responds to the tariffs is going to depend on some factors because at this point they can't really tell how tariffs are going to be impacting inflation. That aspect of his comments with regards to tariffs echoes a lot of what we heard from Fed Chair Powell on Wednesday, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
Yeah. Someone in the chat
on Nvidia.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Solid,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, it took 3 attempts, right? Like here's attempt 1, didn't work out. I kind of paper handed that one. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get the retest. I waited for that indecision candle, and then once we broke this low here, I just got out, and then I waited for it to come back, and then just hopped right back in there and pop, partial out there. So, okay, so Jag says, Joe, great lesson. Let me know if there is a call wall at 560. Just want to know if I can tell call walls. So I'm going to say not necessarily, right? So you can see that there's about 3,400 open contracts. But if you want to go to larger size, that's going to be at 365, right? So you want to identify large areas of open interest, and then that's going to lead you to 570, all right? So I believe the market is going to have issues today cracking 570. That's why you're going to collect nothing. So if you're going to be shorting 0 DTE from 570 on the call side, you're not going to be collecting much. The market's not going to price that in. I don't think that we breach 570 today. I could be totally wrong on that front, but that's where you see about 70,000 open contracts. Look for something on the OI column. So whenever you have your options chain pulled up, you want to see something that eye pops and sticks out to the rest of those other contracts and throughout those other columns of strike prices. Okay, so not quite 560, you got the right idea, but if I were to just continuously go up the chain, 562 has 7,500, 563 has 7,200, and then we would take a jump right to 565, so we get that hole in half, 19,200, and then something that really stands out to me is at that 570 because it is relatively balanced on the call and the put side, with 55,000 on the put side and then 69,000 on the call side. All right, and then if we were going to go a little bit lower, we see 560. Oh, okay, so on the put side, you're not wrong. Okay, so yeah, I apologize on that. On the put side, you're not wrong. You have 88,000 open contracts. Let's see if the market continues to hold within that range. So my apologies on the put side. You are right. I know you said in the question, is it a call wall? But no, I see that open interest on the put side there, Obi.
Yeah, the market's taking a little bit of a pullback here, so we're getting a continuation off of that 19.8 rejection here. So let's see if Intel can get below this 24 level. But yeah, throw it up in the chat. What are you guys watching? I'm still watching what I said before. Boeing and Lockheed Martin still continuing absolutely beautifully in their own respective directions. And another name that I kind of missed this morning, I did have it down on my morning trade plan. Now, again, this was a bit of a morning trade plan right there. Well, this I have to change. I don't think the VIX was at 2150. That might be from yesterday. But I was looking at Nike, Micron, FedEx, CCL, and PDD. There are some of those earnings names as well. So CCL was the one I kind of forgot about here. So let's take a quick look at CCL. I'm still watching this this Intel. Let's see if it can crack through that 24. That 24 has been a bit of an interesting area here, and a lot of volume being traded at a bunch of these prices. I know that's very arbitrary, but Intel doing some interesting things over the past couple of weeks. A couple of days ago, we saw that Intel was disconnected from the rest of the market as it sold off. Oh boy, Carnival, maybe that's setting up for something. But first, let's see what Adara has to say.
This part of the show is brought to you by VinFast. The Vietnamese EV powerhouse opened its new green series for orders earlier this week in Vietnam. The lineup featured 4 models: the mini car, ASUV, CSUV, and the MPV, all designed to enhance transport services and drive Vietnam's green mobility. The Green Series has made a huge splash in Vietnam's auto market, racking up 45,813 pre-orders in just 72 hours, all confirmed with no cancellations. This unprecedented milestone not only sets a new record in the nation's automotive history, but it also highlights the strong demand for VinFast green EVs among both individual buyers and service businesses. So far in January and February 2025, VinFast has delivered over 22,500 EVs in the Vietnam market alone, already exceeding what they delivered in Q1 of 2024. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting. I'm watching for what you guys are trading in the chat there. A lot of people talking about, a few people talking about Micron. I'm watching Micron as well. Micron just got through its day low as well. So yeah, some strong earnings names here. This was a trade I was talking about on Micron off of the open there. You kind of had to be short in the pre-market here. Look at that beautiful rejection of that 100 level here on Micron, and look at that. It doesn't really give you much time off of the open to get short as it slams right through that 98 all the way down for a 4-point run of that 94. We're coming right back into those levels right now, but VWAP is held. We tried to hold, we tried to bounce, but dead cat it was for the continuation to the downside. 94.04 is trading as of right now. And what was interesting to me here, Joe, was last night I was watching this, sitting here looking at this earnings report, and I was like, oh boy, all right, 110's potentially incoming. But by the time we got into the 8 p.m. close, we pretty much gave back everything. And coming into the pre-market session, the selling continued into the open, giving back not only the reference price of the earnings, but also giving back pretty much this low, consolidation low that we've been holding since Monday. So it gave up the weekly low below 100 in the pre-market and could not get above that 100. So yeah, definitely a decent action to risk against that 100, and then you get that nice little flush. And getting that continuation now going into the middle of the day here is Micron. So absolutely beautiful if you had the idea to get short. But yeah, I think long potentially was valid here for a reversion to VWAP, but then when those sellers step right back in after they've been so obvious off of an earnings report, when you give back the whole price and then break week low, I don't know about you, but that shows a little bit of weakness to me, and we're getting that weakness coming in pretty aggressively on the day today. Now, again, distinctly different from the rest of the chips here. Let's take a quick look at the semiconductor ETF. Again, look at that. Pretty much sideways, not really doing too much. So Micron is one of the only ones that is kind of selling off the way it is. I have my tech basket open up here as well. You can see that, yeah, AMD's pulling back, Nvidia's pulling back. You can see the market's also pulling back into that 19.7 mark, as well as the ES, making our first I guess an attempt at a break of trend that we've been holding since the open here. You can see we've been kind of holding these 15-minute candles back to back over and over again, and finally we're catching a bit of a sell off of the 19.8 down into the 19.7, so about a 100-point move there to the downside here. But yeah, waiting for the next trade. Let's see what else I got on watch here. FedEx reversion was nice. I think shout out to Adara. She said she was in that reversion as well. So good stuff on that. But yeah, again, I'm not really seeing too much else. Maybe Carnival. Carnival's been catching a bid since about 10 o'clock. Finally catching some selling along with the rest of this market. Let's see if that gets some continuation. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at FXI right now, Obi. I kind of like how it's curling up. Again, I don't want to chase it right now. You can see that we're starting to break up here, guys. You can see we're punching through some of these pre-market lows, and then you get this nice curl over type price action. The issue here is that these lower highs, right? So it's just continuous. So we need that volume to really step in order to push us through that. You can see it is picking up on the 5-minute time frame. But that was one of my primary plans for today. I wasn't expecting to trade Amazon and Nvidia. I'll pull up my notes for you guys here real quick. Just because, yeah, that just wasn't in the game plan. I had MU, but Obi and I, we've talked about MU before, and I'm like, there's just too many fake outs in the underlying. But here we go, guys. Again, just honing in. Those are the top, just the daily focus rules today, and that's what we tried to do. And then this is just the game plan writing. So I was really hyper focusing on the TQs, FXI, and TSLA. Unfortunately, I didn't trade Tesla, and it was one of the better big names today. But Amazon was fantastic, and I can't complain about it. I've seen my price action pattern start to set up, especially because from a Camarilla pivot point structure for all my cam traders out there, we're sitting at a key level of support. And you can see those buying pressure candles on the daily start to print. So that's why I'm like, okay, let me hop into a bull call spread here. So right now I'm hedged, but my intentions are to ratio trade this. So what I do is I have one short call and one long call open right now, but then I'm gonna add multiple long calls once the thesis starts to play out. So that was my number one idea. Was I liked FXI in the morning because it gapped down and it was weak, and I was looking for a recovery because we know China has been relatively strong, so just looking for a rebound in that. MU, I knew what was possibly to come with this name. I've traded it multiple times. Oops, we don't want that. Oh, I've traded it multiple times on earnings. Dude, we want to pull the stock up here. Right? And I'm just like, I don't love it. So again, to the short side, really nice. I like how Obi pointed out, yeah, we rejected VWAP. And then if you were to look at yesterday's open interest on the options chain, I have my notes here. I believe 107 was was what I seen for the most OI on this OB. And I'm like, okay, we got to really watch out for this. So yeah, 105 and 115. Right here on the old notes there, guys. I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't really matter anyways. We've rejected it, and we've had the inability to hold those levels, and now we're continuing to bleed. So this is the print here, the earnings report print. We've cracked through all of this daily lows and the low of this print and just continued to bleed. So I'm just going to avoid that. Yeah, and Obi wants to touch on something. What do you got going on, brother? Oh, I thought you were talking. No worries. I thought you were talking to me, yeah. Here. Oh, okay.
No worries. I just got to get into something.
Okay, yeah. Do you want me to continue going here? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, guys. So that was the game plan. We worked on Nvidia. I seen that we were selling in the pre-markets as well too, guys. So I'm like, okay, this could be a potential day for a rebound. I don't usually like it when we rally into the open. I like a little bit of a sell-off, and then you can kind of get those rebounds if the market's going to be strong. And we've seen from the previous past couple sessions that buyers are starting to engage again. So that's a positive sign there, guys. Sorry, Ramin, I didn't hear what you said there.
She's just talking to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, yeah, thanks, Bear vs. Bulls. Appreciate you. Joe, can you check out CBOE, your thoughts? Okay, yeah, for sure. I didn't know that was an actual CBOE. Let's see what you got going on. Global, oh, that's a whole market. Okay, that's interesting. I have no idea about this thing. So the CBOE Global Markets, yeah, I'll go over that shortly. I got to read some more stuff on that. But Jimmy, I will most definitely do that for you, my friend. If there's anything that you guys want to. So Los Polio says Doji on the Qs on the 5-minute. I don't necessarily see that right now. I would want to see it below the volume weighted average price. It looks like the market wants to continue bleeding, but I think I might be frozen here. So I got to be a little bit patient and wait for things to start picking up, and there we go. Yeah, I don't see that just yet, Los Polios. So I'm going to be patient, going to keep my eyes on FXI for this pullback, and then make for a possible entry as we are running into some resistance right now, Obi.
Yeah, so again, just continuing to watch this a little bit, 3 seconds left for this 15-minute candle to print. Let's see how this one prints here. But Boeing, oh boy, I was looking for the reversion. I was like, all right, well, how this news is trending pretty aggressively, pretty strong to the upside. And oh boy, does that reversion come in real hot, right from 182 halves all the way down to 179s here on Boeing. So absolutely aggressive selling, kind of giving back a decent chunk of the move here. Let's see if the market bounces off of this 19.7, or do we continue a little bit to the downside, kind of giving us more of what we've been seeing since the pre-market session here, kind of trading below this 20,000 level, got below 19.9, got below 19.8 off of the, well, going into the open, and then in the open session as well, 19.8 acting as a little bit of resistance here on the day. But yeah, Boeing absolutely wild there. Kind of that was a hard flush. I was watching it and I was like, all right, well, should I really be getting in here short? 182s risking up to 183s, and by the time I thought about it, it took way too long there, and then straight quadunk to the downside for about a three-point flush was pretty fast there on Boeing. Let's see if the market can come in here potentially as well. Intel got a little bit below that 24 there, just looking for that continuation back into that VWAP level. VWAP sitting just a few pennies away, 23.86s as of right now here. Nvidia still chopping around sideways as of right now, and we're starting to print a little bit green here on this 15-minute candle on the market. So let's see if we catch a little bit of a bounce here. But let me know in the chat what you guys are looking at. I'm more than curious to know on a day like today what everybody is involved in. So throw up your tickers in the chat. We're more than willing to take a look at them as we get some strong volatile moves in this market. So something else I didn't really do after sitting down at the desk was take a look at the VIX, because we know the VIX has been a little bit spicy as of recently, trading almost into 30. Now we know we're around 20, so I do want to keep an eye on it. As of right now, it's at 20.36. So interesting price there, or interesting level there for the VIX. We got all the way to 29.57, Joe, and we've been pulling back off of there.
Yep.
A little bit of volatility reversion happening there on the VIX as it kind of pulls back in. But yeah, nothing else really on watch here. I'm going to do some scans here while you guys throw up in the chat. I see a lot of tickers coming up in the chat. Oh boy, all right, so let's take a quick look at some of these. Mark is saying Nike. Okay, all right, so Nike was definitely part of one of my tickers that I was watching in the morning here. And yeah, oh boy, what a reversion here. We pull back into 65s. Can't really get any lower. So looking distinctly different. I was looking for that same kind of micron trade where we pop on the earnings report here, and you can see it gives it all back going into 8 p.m. Makes a little bit of this shelf here, support at 68s. Look at that, trading below that in the pre-market, coming in off the open. 67 is resistance confluence with VWAP, but take a look at that. 65s, we can't get below 65s. The bid steps back in. We reclaim VWAP. We reclaim on top of the high a day. As of right now, we're trending a little bit higher, back up into that 68 level here. So I'm curious to know where, if and when, selling will step back into Nike. It could potentially come in. But shout out to Marcus for trading Nike here on the day. Absolutely beautiful bid that it's caught since about 9:35. So didn't really sell off for more than about 5 or 6 minutes off of the open. We've been only catching a bid since then. So shout out to any Nike longs there. That price action is definitely just doing it to the upside. So let's see what else you guys have on watch here. Harry Connor saying TQs. Yeah, I got TQs on watch as well. Again, got the NASDAQ here, but let's take a quick look at the TQQs, triple Qs. Right there. But yeah, kind of a similar story here as the rest of the market as it kind of chops sideways. Consolidation here. We are technically making higher highs and higher lows. We've reclaimed VWAP here on the TQs, but you can see still kind of within this pre-market sell-off range here as of right now. We did attempt to take back some of it here. You can see the selling kind of started, that aggressive volume coming in, going into 8:45 in the morning session right there and flushing us a little bit lower here. So we kind of gapped that move in the open session as of right now. So let's see what we have in store. I'm looking for a third red candle here on the markets, as this is the first kind of selling that we've started in and around, when it's 11:15, so around the midday as well. I kind of like my reversions in the middle there of the day. As well, but yeah, reversions can happen any time of the day, really. But if they happen in and around the middle of the day, I do like them a little bit better. CCL potentially coming in for a turn here. Got that on watch as well. Let's see what else you guys are watching. SMCI, yeah, I saw SMCI. I was like, oh boy, that one went crazy today. A little distinctly different relative to some of the other tickers on the day here. When it comes to chips, you can see it's been catching quite a bit of a bid. Nice little grind trend up all the way to 41.24s. Now pulling back for a bit of reversion here to VWAP. Let's see if we can get that on Intel as well. What's up, Adara?
Hi, here on TME. This is, 10-cent music, so not necessarily like the exact same as 10-cent proper, but it is worth noting 10-cent is launching its Hunwan T1, its DeepSeek style reasoning model. So we know Alibaba's had a reasoning model. Now we get one from 10-cent, guys. Back to you.
For that, Adair, is there anything else you want to go over there, Obi? Or
not really. I think Marcus again with TM Tempest AI. Okay, let's take a quick look at TM. We know this was Pelosi's ticker, right? TM. I think this was one of her picks as well. So let's see how this one's been doing here. I know a lot of people involved in this name as well. It's been catching a little bit of a pullback here off of its highs. Went all the way up to 91.45 in the middle of February, and look at that beautiful reversion, almost 100% reversion off of these prices here, but a 50% reversion off of the highs here on TEM. But holding its own here. You can see over the past since August here, we've been kind of fluctuating in this range in and around mid to high 70s, 80s, and then low 30s as well. So yeah, let's see what this name has in store. I know that a lot of her tickers tend to work out pretty decently. So I definitely have eyes on this one. I don't want to get involved as of right now, but maybe some more price action, maybe some holds above a little bit higher to get involved there. But yeah, the backside of the move was absolutely beautiful on TEM as well. But yeah, intraday, don't really know what it's doing other than just bidding up. So looking very similar to, I guess, that of, kind of that of SMCI, but not really. But holding trend above VWAP is a little distinct. Trading below 50. It's trying to get through that 50 is what it looks like as of right now. Wow, Boeing right back up.
Boeing right back up there, right? All right, Obi, we got a bunch of super chats here, my friend. $19.99 from my friend, the Valley Palms. Any ideas why RGC is holding up? I'm still holding at 1066. Rumors are they might split. I mean, maybe Adara can get something on. I'll pull up it real quick here for you because thank you for that super chat. So Regenicell Bioscience Holding Limited is a bioscience company that focuses on research, development, and commercialization of traditional Chinese medicine. Okay, very, very interesting. News from a news standpoint, I don't see anything right now. Holding Limited resumed trading. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but you're in at 1066. Nothing wrong with locking in any gains. Again, so do what you please. Trim a little bit, put some profit in your pocket. It's Friday. It's quad witching day as well too. So if you're waiting for that split, then you'll just be the proud owner of more shares than what you currently have. So again, it's up to you. Lock in some profits, in my opinion, but it's your position. I believe you should do what you want. There's no financial print. Let's see what Adair is up to though.
As we get these moves here again in Boeing, it is worth noting Donald Trump is making some more comments here in case you missed it. Boeing and Lockheed Martin both moved, Boeing to the upside and Lockheed Martin to the downside after Donald Trump announced at 11 a.m. that the Air Force is going to be working with this fighter jet, and Boeing has been selected for the contract. He's adding some more details on the fighter jet, saying that it will be built during his administration. So it seems like this will be happening by the end of 2028. He also said that this new fleet will be built over the next couple of years, and that the experimental version of this fleet or this jet has actually been flying for almost 5 years. So more Trump comments on this Boeing jet fighter on watch, guys. Back to you.
Adara, another $5 super chat here. Obi, Joey, should I share with my profits with someone who won't invest if we're in a relationship? No, this isn't a therapy session. Man. Yeah, come on, man. Okay,
wait,
okay,
what's the
all
question
right.
again?
Okay, so it's Joey. Should I share my profits with someone who won't invest if we are in a relationship? Ramin says it depends how long this relationship has been going. What do you have to say? I'm gonna say it's up to you, my friend.
Yeah,
is it equal playing grounds? Like, are you guys feeding each other? You know, food's a big way to the individual's hearts. How do they take care of you, etc. And I mean, if you believe it should be reciprocated, then by all means share those profits. So I don't know what you think about that.
Here's the thing, man. Profits are subjective. You mean profits in the market? Maybe your partner is giving you profits in other aspects of life as well, right? Are they an investment to you? And how do you view that? Money's not everything, man. Like, it's like, I understand it's not a therapy session, but you know what? It's up to you. How do you feel about your investments, and do you feel that your relationship is an investment as well? And if so, are you guys both really sharing profits? That's the question.
One thing I will say too, Obi, if you are making money from your investments, displaying it to them usually leads people to be like, hey, I want to start investing too. So instead of sharing necessarily your money, you know how the old saying goes, you can teach a man to fish, all right, and feed him for a day. Yeah, exactly. Or they give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. All right. So that one's a little bit there, more on Wall Street. So I think that one's up to you. If you really care about that person, then yeah, why not? All right. We got another $6 super chat from my guy DJ 2AM, dropping those Dolph mixtapes. Nice work there. The Dream Team. Happy Friday, everybody. Go get that money. And then one more, another $5 super chat here, Obi. The both of you are awesome, and I appreciate your professionalism and calm demeanors. Bang, appreciate you for that one. And we got some food. I don't think we're gonna get the food today, but I mean, dude, we got a lot of money for food, and I don't think your boy hasn't forgot.
Butter chicken.
You got butter chicken, but I'm talking super chats,
biryani,
man. We got like
I'll be the judge if that biryani is any good.
We got yeah, there you go. We got a couple $100 in super chats here that we got to put on food, but Sharif's not here today, and it doesn't seem like everybody's here, so we're gonna have to wait on for that. But I vote for tacos. Right, so we'll see where that one goes there. So Marcus James Reed, inspiring pro. No, you are a pro with your professionalism there, my friend. Thank you once again for those super chats. And let's see what everybody else is looking for. My money is my money, and his money is also my money. Bang. Okay, let's go. That's how it's done. It is all for one and one for none, guys. All right, let's see what we got going on. Oscarito says, don't let him simp. Don't be a simp. What do you got going on? You printing up over there?
No, I'm just like, I'm just trying to be like, all right, give me that fill. It's trading at 23.90s. I'm sitting at 23.90s to cover a little piece there, and I was just like, give me the fill. Sometimes I like to talk to the tape. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I know it's a little wild, it's a little crazy, but I'm just like, oh, come on, you can fill that. You can fill that. Come on, baby. Let's go. 23.90. I mean, sometimes you got to talk dirty to it. And I'm like, oh boy, come on, draw.
Oh, trust me. I mean,
market's dropping down right now below that 19.7. I'm looking for a continuation, a little bit of a pullback here. Let's see if we can kind of come back in and revert to the mean, which is VWAP. As of right now here on Intel, only about a few pennies away from there. So let's see if we can get there. No idea if we can get all the way down there, but it is working out as of right now. Market finally catching a little bit of a continuation on the selling that we saw off of that 19.8. So break of trend on the rest of the market. But yeah, that 24 level continues to be a little interesting here. Let's see if we can get down to VWAP. Not really looking for too much here. But yeah, some of these other tickers obviously going to get a little bit more of a push and a tug maybe from the market move to the downside here. But yeah, if we wick back up, that's perfectly fine as well. There's a minute left here for this 15-minute candle to print. So we've gotten 3 red 15s in a row here on the NASDAQ and the ES. So, oh boy. Let's see if we get some more selling here. That's all I'm really looking for. That was an aggressive flush that came in. LMT kind of coming into its lows. Boeing actually wicked right back up and came right back down. So looking very wicky on the 15-minute chart is Boeing as of right now. CCL still holding its own a little bit here. Nike, though, looking distinctly different from the rest of the market. continuing to bid up on Nike. So wow, this is the best kind of, this is the dream reversion, man. It's like, all right, you have the sell off of the open, the bid comes in, you finally catch the bid, you're like, all right, are we going to revert back to VWAP? I think that little chunk might be a little high probability. And then we reclaim VWAP. Oh boy, probabilities are changing. We hold consolidate above VWAP. We break the opening range high. Probabilities continue to change in the favor of the longs. And look at that, nice little push back up to 68. Now the question becomes, that's that earnings reaction low on Nike is exactly, well, not exactly 68, but 67.98. So just underneath that level, we're trading 67.93s with a high of 67.98 as of right now on Nike. So let's see if that support turned resistance in on Nike over the overnight session continues to show any sort of significance here as of right now, as we pretty much drive right into it as the bid coming in all the way from 9:39 all the way to right now, which is 11:45. So yeah, pretty strong bid there on Nike. Let's see if sellers can step back in, or are buyers going to stay in charge for the rest of the day here. Joe, I have no idea, but that's what I'm watching as of right now. Nothing too crazy going on during the midday here. But yeah, if you guys see anything crazy, let us know. I'm more than willing to get involved in something that is spicy and maybe fits or aligns with my playbook as well. So that's what I got going on. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm looking at some IBIT here, Obi. I see some outstanding volume, but I'm also looking at this wedge start to form here on NVDA as well too, guys. I know I mentioned that I don't necessarily want to trade it, but this, for people who are looking to play this wedge here, you can see that we're forming these consistent higher lows, right? So higher low, higher low, higher low, and then now we have somewhat of a resistance zone right here that we can't get through. I'm going to wait for volume to step in, and just with the overall market sentiment, it may be to the downside, but if it does decide that it wants to break up, I don't know why I haven't full screened this yet, but again, these are just more or less whipsaw moves in my opinion, through this resistance zone, because you can see we have multiple touches and then you fake out through it and then you just come right back into this zone. But we'll look for this price compression pattern to come into play. I do like IBIT here, so I'm going to hop into that. I have a definitive out on it, guys. It's printed this doji candle, but you will see a little bit of selling pressure here. So this is essentially what I'm trading off of. If we break 47.48, then I'll just get out of the trade. It did pop up just a little bit. I punched. I probably should have posted to get a little bit better of a price, but that's okay. I punched that, and then maybe we'll add if we can continue here, because I think from a daily standpoint, Bitcoin isn't really in a breakout zone or anything along those lines. So I'm not expecting too much, but if the market wants to recover, then I think it'll join it and participate as well too. But NVDA is really interesting as price starts to compress here, and that's what I'm going to continue to monitor. If we sit on top of this zone and you see a large amount of volume come in that can say, hey, classify this move as a genuine breakout, then that's what I'm going to look for. And that's what I was when I was trading here. You know, we always talk about volume and just following it at that standpoint. So this is where I got in. I don't remember the exact trend, but I think I might have took a little bit off and then got break even and tried it again. But essentially, this is what I was following right here. This was determining to me, all right, the low has been put in. You now get this engulfing volume signature, and you crack a little bit higher. So I was looking for that continuation, but you see me ran right into these pre-market lows, which again, you see we rejected multiple times. So there's some zones that we need to get through in order for this thing to continue to climb higher. But it does look like it wants to break out. We just need the volume to support it, all right? But what I will do here, Obi, before I send it back to you real quick, my guy, is we're going to take a look at the chain to see what we got going on NVDA. There is a ladder, I'm pretty sure, yeah, through 121 to 26 of OI. So if we can crack through, to be honest with you, I mentioned before earlier in the week, 118 being a really a pivotal spot for NVDA, because we can't crack through that 37,000 open contracts on the call side, but then there's 97,000 on the put side. So we're getting some pinning, and the market has really been struggling to get through those levels, and that can be displayed through the chain. So yeah, there's a little bit of a ladder on the call side in order for us to get through. So that momentum, and I mean with the options expiration, we can definitely get through those levels, but we need to see that volume step in there, Obi.
Yeah, that's for sure. Did you see what potentially could be An interesting ticker on the day today. I know I totally forgot about it. DoorDash. I think that's it's a little bit of. I think it's being, is it being added or deleted? I forget. I gotta check. I
believe it's an addition.
Yeah, pretty much, it's an addition, right?
Yeah.
I think so. So a little bit of a consolidation sideways, holding that VWAP as of right now. It did some decent relative volume in the pre-market here, and you can see that we're pretty much trading in yesterday's range here on DoorDash as well. So that was another one that I kind of forgot on my watch list as well. Zion Lala, yeah, I think Sharif is okay. He just had to go deal with some personal things. So I'm just filling in with him as of right now. But yeah, I'm sure he will be back on Monday for sure. But let's see what Adara has to say right now.
Nice little drop here for FXI. This is, of course, Chinese-related stocks. Financial Times reporting that the U.S. is going to be probing some Chinese telecom groups that it suspects of posing security risks. So nice drop here for FXI here. This is the 3-minute chart. As you can see, this push to the downside as the Financial Times report that U.S. is going to be probing these Chinese telecom groups. Guys, back to you.
Before that, there, yeah.
Yeah, so catching a bit of a wick there on this current 15-minute candle on the market. So yeah, I'm just looking again, very simple kind of. All I'm looking for today, like I said before, just simple base hits, nothing too crazy. Not willing to put on crazy amounts of risk just yet. But yeah, well, if anything does show up, I will have eyes on it as well. For example, like Boeing and LMT, very, very distinct action there. Didn't really catch any piece of any side of those moves just yet, but you can see how aggressively the action came in and pretty much how it dissipated as well. A lot of that buying pretty much dissipated here on Boeing. LMT, the selling does continue to the downside, so we're getting that continuation here on Lockheed Martin. Maybe a little bit more affected by the news because again, LMT kind of maybe expecting a little some, and it's going to Boeing here as of right now. Now Boeing has also been pretty beat down as well. We have to remember that on a higher time frame. You can see where this ticker is kind of coming in from, right? It's had a little bit of issues over the past year or so, and we've been kind of selling off pretty aggressively. You can see that little quadunk that we had in and around the middle of February 2020. I guess that's the COVID low, and then we've been trading within that range. But this is the one I'm talking about here. Kind of, we've been having some trouble here off of 260s. Pulled all the way back in. That was January of 2023. So we know that Boeing, again, they had there was a lot of issues there with Boeing, and then now price action seems to be kind of stabilizing, holding a little sideways since then. Now a little pop on some fresh news here on Boeing. So interesting stuff. Pop goes the market as well.
Ooh, oh yeah, there goes NVDA there, brother.
So I got to keep an eye on this one as that comes in.
Yeah, NVDA is starting to break out there, guys, heading into some resistance zones. You can see here that volume starting to pick up on that 1-minute time frame as you break through some of these key levels here, guys. So that is the look on NVDA. Not going to participate just yet. Lots of wicks. We're going to wait for some more volume, but on the 2-minute time frame, it is slowly starting to stair step up, and that's exactly what we want to see. But I'm in some IBIT. It's not looking too good here, guys. Do you know why? Because look at this shelf right here that we have to monitor. So this is a support zone now acting as a clear resistance zone. We got a little pop through it, but then we weren't able to sustain it, and you're seeing that selling pressure continue to hold up here, guys. So I'm gonna have to hop out of this trade at the break of this low as the market comes in, and there it goes. We are out there. What a flush.
What a game.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like, oh, that was an aggressive bid that popped back in, and I'm like, I gotta wait, I'll be patient, and then boom, slams right back in.
Massive rejection there, Obi, which is unfortunate, but we'll get out of this. The volume just really picked up. Resistance across the market. NVDA came in. So that's is well said there, Obi. Fugaze, not too good of a look there. So that's it for IBIT. We're not going to be trading this one too much. We're going to stick to the names that have been working for us throughout the day, and that has been NVDA and Amazon. All right, guys. So we'll continue to that. I don't want to trade the Qs. I showed you guys my little touch on the cues here earlier in the day, but again, it's just massive fake outs, some sideways type price action, not necessarily something that I'm looking to participate. I like to see that orderly style price action, not everything overlapping each other, not range trading or anything along those lines. But that volume print here on IBIT is really, really juicy. I like the look of it there. A nice hammer candle print there, Obi, on IBIT. We'll give this one maybe one more stab. It could have been a liquidity grab here. If we crack those lows, then we can always just get out of there. But I like this hammer candle print. It actually almost hold it to a T, but I'm like, if that volume is picking up and then it's to the downside, I don't want to be any part of that. I got out when I was supposed to. If we get in right now, again, we have a better price than our entry. And then if things turn around, that momentum to the top side and that volume to the top side starts to kick in, if NVDA wants to break out, I believe we can really start going here on IBIT as well here too, guys. So we'll try it. Actually, no, I don't want to try it just yet. Going to be a little bit more patient. Wait for that precision entry. As long as we don't crack this low, then I believe this thesis can be valid and we can climb higher and higher here in Bitcoin. Oh, one thing I did want to note, guys, is that Bitcoin is mid-cam range, so it's sitting between S1, S2, and R1 and R2, and that's when you get that really choppy type price action, all right? So that's one of my keynotes that I had today, and I'm not even looking at the Camarilla pivot, so for all my pivot traders who do have access to it right now, look where IBIT is sitting, and you'll see it mid-cam range, and that's why we get this toppy type price action. But I am liking NVDA for potential breakout. We just have to wait. It's either, I think it's going to go one way or the other here, Obi, to be honest with you, especially how we're just consistently forming these higher lows, but then we have this flat top. So again, I don't want to grab it all the way up here into resistance without seeing that volume confirmation. So we'll be patient. I do believe it's going to climb higher. It just has a lot of levels to go through on the options chain, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. I think market catching a little bit of a bid here as we trend a little bit higher. So we reclaimed, there's about 3 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. Intel seems to be catching a little bit of a bid. We didn't quite get all the way down to VWAP. VWAP was at 86, 87. We got to 91s, a little bit of a hold on 91s. It was kind of reserving. So I was watching it. I covered a little piece there, not really that much, and we're trading back above that 24 as of right now. Again, market tailwind definitely a little bit affecting the price action here as the market bids right back up pretty aggressively. We're back above this whole dollar level here on Intel, trading at 24.03s as of right now. Boeing still kind of chop sideways, hasn't really gone down to VWAP just yet. But yeah, that selling did come in pretty aggressively there on Boeing. And I was looking for a continuation back down, but it seems like buying kind of stepping in here, 179, 180s as well. I'm curious to know whether or not we continue to make some fresh highs as this news kind of digests here and as the market takes that in. But yeah, technically this is still trading above that reference price, so still kind of trending to the upside as of right now. Quick little reversion, quick little selling came in, but yeah, that didn't really last for very long here. Let's see, with only about 2 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, Joe, let's see if the market can sustain this bid. Again, we've been bidding for a decent chunk of the day here. You can see the 15-minute candles since about, when is this, about 9:15, 9:30. So coming into the open, we've been we've had a bit of a general uptrend on the futures since then. Sure, the constituents not really looking very much the same. But yeah, let's see if that selling can kind of come right back in. We're trading 24s again. 24 seems like an interesting level here on Intel. We attempted to break back above. Now a little bit of a false break here of that 24 level. Let's see if we can catch anything back down into VWAP, or again, waiting for this candle to print a minute 30 seconds left for this 15. Maybe we print the second green, right? No idea what the market's going to do. I'm going to try my best to stay a little bit nimble. There goes Boeing back up into its highs there, so aggressive. Buying coming into that 182 as of right now. What are you looking at right now? Are you going to be taking any? Do you have eyes on anything? Are you hunting for something? Right
now? I'm stalking. No pun intended. NVDA. I would like to see it. We had some good attempts on this name, and I was telling myself, and I was referring to it yesterday, Obi as well, that this name is really, because of the float so large. It's now sitting in that $1 trillion club, close to $4 trillion, whatever it may be. Not not anymore anyways. It just has multiple fake outs, so you got to start small and just get out when you're supposed to, because it will just wave you out and then it'll eventually do the break. So that was exactly my game plan here. So I got in, I paper handed this. I'm like, all right, let me get out. I don't love the tape, and then I was actually kicking myself. I'm like, oh no, this volume is here. It's stepping in, and I'm like, I could have got a little bit more out of this, but I didn't. 60 cents probably would have been closer to it. So I got out, and then I hopped back in, and then I got stopped out, break even right here. Or not, so I stopped out for a small loss right here, and then I got right back in. But again, I just like the way that this price action is starting to formulate. We got the higher lows, and then we have that flat top there for resistance. So I'm waiting for that volume really to step in here in order for us to either break to the downside or to the top side, because I believe that's what's going to happen in this wedge type PA. I'll zoom out. Oh, gee. Okay, so we can see it a little bit here. So it's just consistent higher lows, and that's what we want to continue to monitor here. So if we get that breakout, that'll be nice. I'll edit this candle here just to make it a little bit more clear. There we go. So yeah, you can still see that we are on the 5 minute. We got another candle there. So yeah, you can see just that consistent with this trend line right here, guys. I showed you on the other chart, and then the flat top. So, but what we really need to be able to identify is this start to pick up. It's dwindling. This is why all these pops are getting faded. There's nothing sustaining the move through these resistance. So through the resistance. So this is really what I'm focusing on right now. And I'm going to be patient. I'm going to have to figure out a risk to reward here as well too, Obi, because if that volume does step into the top side like I'm looking it for, I got to find a base where I'm going to be wrong. But I do expect the breakout to have a retest of that range before it continues. So I'll be patient. We're down about 1.5% here, 1.5 on the day. But I do believe that it can really start to get the ball rolling here. So yeah, that's it. Nvidia, I think it's looking up. It's looking prime right now, and so is Tesla as well. It's kind of forming the same pattern. Tesla relatively stronger than. I sold Tesla in my long term. Okay. And I bought some hood. Okay. But I sold Tesla. So I had a game plan that I didn't stick to. I was telling everybody I had an over 100% return. Then it went down to essentially flat almost. There it goes. Look, there it goes. There, Obi. And I started to acquire some hood. But Tesla went up 5% like that same day. But that's okay. I do believe that there might be some more downside in the long term. But guys, you can see here on NVDA is that we pop up there, the volume steps in, but then it just gets faded right back, right? So that's some frustrating stuff to sit through, and we're just range bound. What we're gonna want to see is an outlying volume signature that's greater than the masses, all right? So greater than most of this. We are starting to stair step higher. Let's see if we can punch through these resistance zones. Mr. C, $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that one, my friend. Can we go over SPY? Yeah, absolutely. It looks like a head and shoulders here, Obi. I don't know what you think. Shoulder one, head, shoulder two, possibly here on the SPY. Okay. Beware for the support levels to be cracked as the momentum is starting to pick up to the downside. Nvidia moving to the downside as well here too, guys. So be wary of that. IBIT broke through those key levels that I was looking for it to hold. Thesis invalid. We're going to be patient. What's the next trade, my guy?
Yeah, no, I haven't really looked at the spider just yet, but yeah, we can take a quick look at SPY here. There's a bit of a flush that came into the market there, as that candle right here, 15-minute candle, again, 11 minutes left. Almost 12 minutes left for it to finish printing here, and a little bit of a flush to the downside here. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the spider. Wow, the weekly. Look at that weekly, man. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes.
Wow, look at that. Just
popping
aggressive volume coming in both ways here on the market. So interesting stuff. But yeah. Let's take a quick look at a shorter time frame here on the spider. You can see that we've been selling off for the past 4 or 5 weeks here on the SPY. The weeklies have been pretty red here, but well within the bigger picture range, I would say. But yeah, I don't know if I would call this a head and shoulders, maybe on the intraday, but it's more sideways chop to me, to be honest, and kind of in trend as well of the higher time frame, like we saw over the past couple of days. A little bit of a rejection of that 570 coming in here. And then we're trading a little bit lower, stepping down a little bit lower here at that 561 level, just trading, just consolidating sideways. So stair stepping to the downside as of right now. So nothing too crazy that I'm seeing there on the spider, but let's see what's going on with Adara and NEO.
Here's the market. The S&P 500 still down about 1% here. The NASDAQ down about just about 0.75%, so slightly less red than the S&P 500. But a lot of news coming in this past hour. For one, we did have Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense in the U.S., announce that they are giving this contract for this jet fighter to Boeing. BA popped in the announcement and LMT dropped. But also keep an eye on car manufacturers here. I'll pull up GM or General Motors. This one on watch here, as Donald Trump says, he really wants these car companies to build in America. So keep an eye on GM, Ford, any manufacturers. Also worth noting that he said that he's going to be speaking with Xi of China. So keep an eye on FXI. Also Donald Trump saying that there will be a flexibility on tariffs because a lot of people are asking for tariff exemptions. Though he said the U.S. could not be expected to, quote, carry Canada. So still having a little bit of animosity towards Canada, but saying that in general, there will be some flexibility on tariffs. So keep an eye on the market in general with tariff-related comments. Here is CCL, one of many earnings names I'd watch. So keep an eye on Carnival, keep an eye on FedEx, keep an eye on Lennar, keep an eye on Micron, and keep an eye on Nike. So many earnings names to watch. Also NIO, Chinese EV NIO, also reported earnings. So slew of earnings names to look at in addition to the overall market and these defense plays. But without further ado, it is time for Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. Lesson of the day, always bet on green and always bet on your Michigan State Spartans tonight. But anyways, that doesn't really matter. On witching days at the open, you always try to preach patience, but one thing that you want to consider on a witching day, or sometimes just generally at the open, is the liquidity grab. And we've always talked about liquidity grabs, and essentially what a liquidity grab would be is a stock goes to a key price area, there's a bunch of volume, and then a complete rejection, and then runs away from runs away from that price. And I think on a witching day, you see a lot of that. And what you can try to do, well, there's two ways you can play it. You can wait for it to exhaust and you can fade the move, or you can be just waiting for the stock to show the test of that key, maybe prior day support, whatever it might be. And then the second you get, and this is a 930 candle. See the 930 candle, rejection, and then that tight little, I guess, nod, and then you hold on the next 15-minute bar. Just look for that little entry there. There's your confirmation of the wick. You try to get in very, very quickly. And this does mean you're sitting out, you're sort of sitting out on having resting orders, looking for that wick, and then the reversal. And the other side of the coin, and this is especially true on witching days, and I saw someone in the chat saying Amazon was trying to break out earlier today. Well, when you look at a stock, and Amazon's the perfect example of this, maybe even more so than Palantir, which we were just showing, you get your liquidity grab, and it's trend up, and then it does the same thing at the high. So oftentimes on witching days, or it could be like in post-earnings play, you're going to get these obvious key levels that you're able to work off of, play your reversions, but you're sitting it out, just waiting for that liquidity grab moment, which on a witching day, you're talking about specifically that 930 candle, where you get that crazy wick bottom and reversal. And all you have to do is know that there is a key level out in play, sit, wait, get your volume event, you have that little tight re-entry in there, and then you're just taking this breakout trade. And then you can be done, and that's your one play, and then wait for the close. So this is the kind of thing you can work with. The other example I was going to use was Tesla. I think Tesla gave you another, not as big of a move, but a much, much tighter range to be able to get in. So on options expiration, sometimes on a stock that might have big earnings, or if it had big earnings right in that open, I think CCL would have been an example today. Or just anytime you have a big gapper and mover. If you like that one shot at the open type of play, let them liquidity grab either the pre-market low, or in the case with Amazon or in the case with Palantir, let them grab that prior support level. Everyone sort of gets stopped out or gets triggered into a short breaking that low, and you're getting in right after it holds and then make that run. Now, I was really only ever fading those this morning. I think a lot of times you take that exhaustion at the other end, and that's another way that you can play it. But obviously, sometimes being patient and going for that snipe of the liquidity grab is especially good on a Friday like today. So your lesson of the day, take advantage of those liquidity grabs that you see. I think Palantir is one of the better examples of it. Today, it happens in both directions. But the 9:30 candle on a witching day sometimes is just going to be absolutely perfect for you. So we've all seen what happens multiple times. You've been trading for a while, but this is your first time looking at the third Friday at the open. Oh boy, they're all fantastic. And I was even saying in the morning show, I was looking at some of them in Toronto, and you could have made some great trades in the Toronto market with the same principle because it just shot after lit grabs off of some of the bids. So take advantage of them while you can, especially on high volatility option days like today.
Thank you very much, Neil, for a great lesson once again. But yeah, no, gotta keep definitely gotta keep the volatility on watch. And I think as of more recent, because the VIX has been above that $20 level, every morning I make note of knowing where the VIX is at, just keeping that in mind, and kind of I'm still learning to kind of compensate for potential. What do you call it? Potential volatility based off of the current VIX, and then maybe risk accordingly as well. There it goes into all the way to the upside. Oh boy, 24.10s coming right back in. So that didn't really work. What do you got going on?
Coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, you can punch out and get right back into it as well, obviously, you know that. And that's what I was referring to. We were talking a little bit about Tesla, Obi, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of this stock. Yeah, it's rebounding right now. But there's always going to be another opportunity for me to get back into the name. I just think the overall sentiment in the environment around it is not good. Unfortunately, I did sell at the lows, like a pure rookie move. I should have stuck to the game plan, but again, just from a portfolio management standpoint, I just couldn't allow myself to have such a positive return go anywhere close to negative. So I had a dodge on that one, and it's just a little bit of management. So I rotated into some other names. So with the likes of Hood, and I haven't even looked at Hood yet, but we love Robinhood, that's for sure. Yeah, guys, being patient. The thing is, like, we continuously keep rolling here, but that volume isn't stepping in how I want it to, even though it is picking up here. There we go. There we go. So yeah, we'll be patient. We're gonna wait for the retest. I was expecting a little bit more to step in here, guys, but it's still early it's near the end of the minute, so we're gonna wait for that next minute to print. But again, you can see that price was just continuously pressing higher and higher, and now it's dragging the overall market back up with it. So that's a positive sign there too, guys. So yeah, good look. Let's see if this can be sustained. I think it's gonna be really important. Keep an eye out on the time of sales. You can see, there we go, we continuously lift the ask, and this is what we wanna see here. If you're looking for those breakouts, and we want this volume to be continued here, guys. So yeah, I might have missed that train, but again, I was waiting for it, and it didn't necessarily set up how I wanted it to, so that's okay. But I do like IBIT at these lows, potential double bottom here, guys. What I'm looking at is now we have multiple indecision prints, but the issue is look at the volume by time profile. Not very good here, all right? But again, some buying pressure, multiple buying pressure. But again, if I was in at the break of this candle, then maybe I would have been half decent. But yeah, going to be a little bit more patient. Bitcoin starting to roll here as well too, guys. Nvidia, Dragon. A rising tide lifts all boats here, Obi, apparently. So there goes Nvidia dragging the market up with it. We're going to wait for the retest here. We're now through these resistance zones on IBIT as Nvidia continues to trade higher. I mentioned earlier this compression pattern. You're going to want to see that volume step in, and we can see from where this is the highest volume signature for the past hour and a bit there, guys. So nice look there on Nvidia. Going to be patient and wait for this pullback in IBIT because I believe it will come. The volume by time. The volume profile is not that good. Again, we'll just be patient, wait for this to hold, and then maybe we'll look for the continuation. We are still negative here on IBIT. Apple breaking up through those highs. Let's go. Amazon continue to climb higher, my friend. Tesla now at 243. Feels good to be out at the 230s. Being sarcastic, obviously, but it is what it is. We don't dwell on that one. So we'll be patient. Wait for that pullback on IBIT, and then look to pounce on that one, my friend.
Yeah, that bid came in pretty aggressively. We were talking about the close of the 15-minute candle. There's about 1 minute left, just under, and we get that strong bid off of that 19.7 all the way back up to intraday highs here on both the NASDAQ and the ES. So yeah, aggressive action there. A spider, we were just talking about that. Is that a head and shoulders? I was like, no, it's kind of trading in the range, and look at that, it comes right back to the top of the range pretty aggressively there on the SPY. So with the rest of the market as well, back to 19.8. Let's see if that can bring us anything. Intel all the way back up to highs, so stopped out of that one there. It didn't really work. Again, got to respect that reserve there. I was literally sitting at 23.90, and I'm like, all right, well, it's gonna fill me. Is it gonna fill me? It's not really filling me. It's reserving 91s, and seeing that, I post a little bit out, but only about 10% of my full position, and then it comes in and stops me out on the rest. So not the best look there. Got to be a little bit more nimble, and I've been trying to do this a little bit more in this current market, where I'm realizing it's not necessarily, again, with the volatility being the way it is, it's not really giving me those level to level moves that I'm really looking for. It's kind of choppy. It's not really getting there. Maybe it's stopping a little too early. But regardless of whatever it is, if I do see, I just got to go back to simple, basic reasons to buy and reasons to sell, and if I just stick to those, then it's more than good there. I was looking for an extra 4 or 5 pennies there on Intel down into VWAP, but again, if it's not going to give it to me and it's going to show me a reserve and then it's going to break that downtrend to the upside, that's more than enough reason to cover a decent chunk there. So I just got to follow that a little bit there. So back up to the highs. Let's see if we break out with any sort of vigor here, but a little bit of selling coming in on this 15-minute candle as of right now. So that's what I have on watch. Let me know if you guys caught the long on that move there when the bid comes right back into the market. So absolutely crazy. Not a lot of things are looking like they're about to sell off with that bid there. SMH back to its highs. I'm looking at TSM as well. Micron catching a little bit of a curl as well. It made a day low at 93.70s. And Nvidia attempting to push back towards its opening range high, which is sitting at 117.67. So we just got back up through 117s on that one. Intel pushing for its day high as well. It was a double top at that 24. I had conviction for the reversion back down into VWAP, and guess what? We did pretty much get a reversion back down into VWAP. Doesn't have to hit it to the penny. We came to the area there and then coming right back up into the high. So I have no idea what this market is going to do for the rest of the day, but trying to stay nimble is what I'm trying to do as best as possible. What's up, Adara?
Just be aware here, Donald Trump concluded his event at the White House with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth with regards to that Boeing announcement for the fighter jet. He did talk tariffs a little bit. I had a couple headlines on the screen, but overall, not super market moving. Always worth noting, though, he has stepped off the podium for the time being as the Qs try to make new day's highs. Back to you.
Yeah, market continuing to climb higher. I mean, let's go Amazon. We like this name. I mentioned it time and time again. I believe that there's some bottoming signals. I think that this selling was overdone here, guys. Down 22% from peak to trough here. 22. That's a hefty haircut on I think, such a phenomenal name. So, yeah, we're in and around these lows, which I really like. And I'm going to look for that move to 210, 208, and then we're going to add some contracts if the thesis does work out. But one thing you guys know, I have my out already planned. That order is already in. So if we crack 189, later, Gator, we will find something else that is setting up, and we'll just be patient. I mean, the good thing is, though, is when I sold Tesla in the long term, sitting on 10% cash, feels good on that front. And then I was actually completely liquid for a while in my swing account as well, so it feels good to just kind of find a bottom and a potential bottom and then climb higher here. Market wanting to continue to go. Oh, yeah. NVDA is grinding higher and higher here, guys, so that breakout confirmed. That volume did step in on the lower time frames, so there you go. You can see that clean, nice, orderly type price action there, guys, as we break through some of these key resistance levels. 117. We'll take another. I have the chain still pulled up, so 118. Watch out for that. If we can break through that, then we might get some nice squeeze type price action, but that's a little bit of a ways away here, Obi. And that's going to be the pre-market highs as well, too. So you can see those pre-market highs being highly respected, and that's where the options chain comes into play. It helps you identify identified levels, and etc. So we'll be patient, continuing to go. We like this as a positive sign for the market, especially when some of these big names are starting to work. That's when you can see us continuously start to climb higher and higher, and that's what we need in order for I think this market to continue to do so. Is you need your best players to be your best players. And speaking of best players not being their best player was, we lost 5-2 last night in playoffs. It sucks, man, but it is what it is. There will always be another game, and we'll be back next Thursday. Hopefully get the W.
Nice. Yeah, no, where's always the next game, always the next trade, right? It's the same kind of mentality there. Where's the next trade? And I'm looking at this bid, and I'm looking for the next trade here. As the bid continues to push up higher, we broke past that day high here on the Nasdaq and continuing to push a little bit higher here as well on the rest of some of these constituents. Boeing still holding consolidation in and around that 180 as of right now, so continuing to keep an eye on that one as well. Let's quickly go through what tickers are making or doing some of the top volume on the day. Here, we know that, again, involvement in Nvidia, definitely. Nvidia is on watch almost every day. But IBO, we know we were talking about this one as soon as I got on there. I think I heard Sean Neal mention it there. Nice little push and pull back here on IBO, a little bit of a pop off of opening range highs, back down into a reversion to VWAP right here. ALUR doing some decent volume as well on the day. Nice little push. Wow, there goes Nvidia. Isn't this there goes Intel. Isn't this prior day's high at 2430? I think so. Prior day high at 2430. Nvidia, Intel coming in with that market tailwind. So aggressive bid going into this market as of right now, pretty much across the board there. As again, there goes. So TSM just broke through its day high. Intel, we're already watching that one. SMCI back towards its day highs. SMCI actually held $40 confluence with VWAP pretty well, and we're getting that continuation. Let's see what else. Alphabet about to push its day high. Amazon's pushing its day high as well. 195.95. Oh boy, that 200 level could be interesting. TQ's also pushing as well, and 61.30s on those, and the Spider some fresh highs as well. Those pre-market highs at 563 on the SPY are a little interesting to me as well. So yeah, let's see where this bid kind of stops. But we're breaking some prior day highs on a few names there. So I got that bid on watch. Let's see if that bid dissipates or comes back in. Tesla, of course, as well. 244 is trading as of right now. We did break through that day high. NEO. Trades volume, yes, but not really watching it on the day today. QBTS, we know that we had that quantum event yesterday, and wow, what a sell-off since then. I think it started around 1 p.m. there, and in and around a little bit before, a lot of these quantum names started to kind of sell off, volume kind of coming out of, or going into the ticker there, sell volume. But Palantir, a little consolidation, holding VWAP as well. VWAP seems to be a great place to kind of watch tickers here. So 68s, we did break that 68 on Nike. We got all the way up to 68.37 here on Nike. So still trending pretty nicely to the upside on Nike here. Reverting a little bit of the move that it's been doing. Lucid, oh boy, we know that this name had earnings just a couple weeks ago here. Pretty sure a couple weeks ago. Or it might have been a catalyst here. But yeah, a few days ago, definitely had a catalyst. But it's a nice, strong trend to the upside here on Lucid on the day as well. Pretty much held that VWAP in the morning session and continues to keep going there. Micron coming back up into VWAP. Let's see if sellers can step right back in. 95.50s is where VWAP is right now. And yeah, VWAP sellers off of the open and in and around, what is that, 10.30, 10.40 as well. VWAP sellers coming in pretty nicely on Micron. So that thing is going. Carnival, CCL, oh boy. So we did revert off of those highs there. I was looking at a 15-minute chart. You can see nice little reversion. Didn't quite get back to VWAP. We've given back up We've pretty much given back a decent chunk of the sell-off. I'd say just under 30%, in and around 30%, 25, 30%, just eyeballing it of CCL's pullback there. But let's see if we can continue down to VWAP. Intel, of course, I'm watching this one. Look at this. Look at this candle, man. Look at these candles. Absolutely wild, aggressive bid.
Crazy.
I was shorting here. I'm glad I got out 24.11s as it breaks that prior day high, pushing back up into some of these prior levels here. Aggressive bid with expanding volume on Intel. So, oh boy, I'm going to wait for this bid to dissipate and see if the market also dissipates as well. But definitely don't want to stand in the way of that one. There, Apple to the upside as well. 215s coming in, and SMCI. We just talked about that one there as well. What you got going on, Joe?
Yeah, guys, we got Trade the Pool, guys. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back on Trader TV Live. The Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using companies' capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time. Perfect your strategy and get funded on your terms, guys. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee and your profits are unlimited. Head to tradethepool.com and start trading now, guys. Scan that QR code right there on the charts, or on the screen there, guys. Charts, that's all we think about. So the chart life. Yeah. But yeah, here we go. We're starting to climb in IBIT, guys. Added to this position, we're breaking out here, Obi. Not a horrible look. We added as well. So there we go. We'll take a little bit off there, guys, at these highs, because we don't, we can break down. That volume is dwindling, but if we can crack through some of these local highs, then I think we'll be sitting pretty and we can tap into 48. What are we gonna do when we see these breakouts going on? We're gonna take a look at the options chain to see what we got, see what it's telling us. Even though the crypto market is slightly different. Ooh, okay, 39,000 open contracts at 50. That might be in the works for today, but we do have some overhead resistance at 48, which we're kind of trading around right now, guys. 16,000 open contracts on the call side and 10,000 on the put side. That is greater. Yeah, so that's going to be one of your larger open interests there, right at 48. And then when we go into 50 and 50-50, that's when you're going to see those higher levels of contracts. But yeah, good look there. Let's see if we can continue to climb. Here on, the Qs are ripping. Amazon's through the high of day. We're in some IBIT here on this breakout. I would have really liked to be in here, guys, but I didn't. Slight hesitation on the trigger pull, but when we got in, we added to the position, and now it's just continuing to climb. So hopefully this resistance zone can hold and act as support, or we're going to have to get out once it comes to our break-even stop there, Obi, and it looks like it wants to. The momentum to the down, the momentum to the top side isn't being sustained, and there's some overhead resistance as well, too. That is there's some support that is now acting as overhead resistance. So you get that over-under effect here, guys. But again, if we can crack through that, I think we can tap into 48. But these flushes on the tape are not a good sign, even though we are holding up relatively well. We're going to be patient, hold on for as long as we can. Tesla is continuing to climb, 244 in the works. Nvidia continuing to climb as well here, too, guys. So 118 in the works, but is rejecting it right now. These levels of OI are coming into play here in the market once again, Obi.
Yeah, so that bid came in pretty aggressively. It's still kind of sitting around. Let's see, we got about 3 minutes left on this 15-minute candle to print, and it seems like we're printing pretty much near the highs there. So let's see if this bid kind of continues going into the next few candles here as the day goes on. But yeah, I'm just patiently waiting, watching some of this price action. But like we said, VIX at 20 is definitely a lot of opportunity, a lot of chop in the market here, a lot of aggressive action as well. And that bid came in across the board here on a lot of these tickers here. Bovin saying TNXP. Let's take a quick look at TNXP here, see what's going on with that one. Wow. Okay, so how much volume has this one been doing? About average volume, it seems like, about, what is this, 1.81. We've done about average volume as of right now here, TNXP to the upside. So a nice little push, doing relative volume as well. So, oh boy, nice look on that one there, Bovin. TNXP trending to the upside as of right now. So a nice little push. Maybe that market tailwind giving us a little bit of oomph as well. well. But it seems like that thing's had a bid pretty much for the whole day there. So nice little look there. But yeah, no, more than welcome to kind of look at some of the tickers that you guys are watching. Someone mentioned RDDT, Reddit as well. And Reddit, nice little trend to the upside right now. 115s, can't really get past that as of right now. 114.90 is the day high there. VWAP sitting at 111.79. So Reddit as well, pretty nice on the day. So a lot of things trending nicely. So I guess the trend trades are working if you got involved at the right places on some of these names here on the day. So that's what I really have on watch. Tesla, Epic Strategy saying, let's see what Tesla is up to as well. Wow, Tesla 245 is just coming in on Tesla. So that thing is going. Oh boy, what a wild day.
Yeah, it is wild. I was going to ask you, Obi, in your long-term portfolio, if there's one name that you don't, obviously that you don't currently own, what would be one stock that you would like to own for a long period of time?
For a long period of time,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe something like a staple. I mentioned these tickers on the show a few times. Like stonks only go up. You can see that Walmart. Walmart's a good one. But again, gotta try to get in at some of the better prices on the strong pullbacks when people are selling for a long time. You can see that every time we've been selling off, or we have sold off aggressively on some of those staples. Over time, those have been some of the better places to kind of accumulate inventory on those names. So maybe something like that. I like Amazon as well, and we kind of talk about good companies, how to like being able to buy high and sell higher, and you can definitely look towards doing that on strong tickers like some of the Mag 7 as well. We know how well that worked over the past couple of years. I don't know how well it's working as of right now if you've been buying some of these tops, but yeah, a little bit of a pullback as well. You got to remember, the past couple of years, the market has performed pretty well.
Yeah,
so
back-to-back 20% years.
Yeah.
Right, so. There you go.
Something to consider.
Yeah, a staple. All right, I like that. Yeah, guys, I think that IBIT's going to break down here. You can see that we're starting to construct these lower highs throughout this trend. So that's not a positive signal. We want this base to hold, but if we can crack through that and sit on top of this range here, then I think we'll be okay to break this previous peak and then continue to climb higher and then run into those next levels of resistance that we're looking for. So, but we just need to see the strength within the time of sales and the strength in the time of sales, yeah. Sixto TV, yeah, I'm only messing with you, man. I know you're doing the same thing, but it happened with Tesla, right? It is what it is, and I'm happy about it, to be honest with you. I just don't want to sit through the turbulence of what the character Elon is, especially when the stock essentially doubled in a span of a couple of months and then just gave it all back in the exact same time frame. So yeah, there we go. We're sitting now on top of this resistance zone. Let's see if we can continue to climb and punch through 47.80. We need to see the strength. You can see also on the L2, it's relatively balanced. If I filter it a bit more, then we'll see kind of what is leaning more to one side. But again, nice flushes here, continuous. We just don't want to see those below the bids being constantly hit, and then also the price reacting to it. So every time we flush there, I like to see that reaction to the top side as the market looks like it wants to take another leg higher. So once we crack 47.80 and run into 47.85, we'll look to take a little bit more off there, guys. But again, big rejection right there on these flushes. You want to pay attention to the size here as well. It's nothing crazy. You're only seeing a couple hundred shares, but it's nice and consistent. But then when we do move to the downside, you'll see the size outside, the outlying size on the bids and at the bid and below the bid as well too there, guys. So Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, no competition until Judgment Day. Yeah, I mean, hey, I like Amazon. I told you guys I'm in some calls, and there we go. We're starting to climb higher here in IBIT. We like this one there, Obi Bang. We'll take a little bit off there, guys. Breaking through that resistance zone. I mentioned that we are forming these lower highs, and we had to sit on top of this in order to break through. Said that real time. I drew that and it sat on top, and then now we're starting to climb higher and higher. Let's see if Bitcoin can go positive here today. Go to Adara. Sorry, before we go back to Obi, guys.
Check out this new graphic here we have from Trader TV Research on X. Posted this earlier, corrected some typos. It is now being reposted here on X at TTV Research. So this is the performance here of Nike stock under all of its 4 CEOs that have been appointed since 2000, starting here with William Perez, who served a pretty short term not even 2 years here, December 2004 to January 2006, about 7% downside during his term. Then Mark Parker, by far the best CEO for the company from a stock perspective here. Mark Parker's tenure led the stock to rise by almost 900%. To be fair here, he also has the longest tenure by far of these CEOs, so the amount of time is, I think, worth noting as well. Then we've got John Donahoe, who lasted just about 4 years here, down about 20% in its time. Elliott Hill took over in October 2024, and he has his Nike's Win Now strategy. As of yet, the stock has not been super responsive to that strategy, but as of the close on Tuesday, it's down to about 10.7% since he took the reins. So you can check this out on X at TTV Research. Back to you.
So what do you got going on there, Opes?
Yeah, not much here. Just watching some tape here, watching some consolidations. That bid came in pretty strong, but we're slowing down a little bit here. So just continuing to watch that piece on the Nasdaq here. Again, that let's see if we can get back down to 19.8s. That seemed to be a bit of an interesting level. Strong push over the past 30 minutes or so, and a bit of a stall here. But yeah, we broke day highs on a lot of different tickers here. Something I'm not really wasn't really watching were both SMCI and ARM, and you can see both of them are doing pretty well here on the day today, trending to the upside, printing some fresh highs there. Are you guys involved in any tech stocks there? Any what do you call chip names on the day? Some of them, like I said before, have been trending pretty nicely since off of the open. Some of them not so much. Micron's a great example. Micron, let's see if that came into VWAP here. We know that sellers at VWAP were kind of dominant in the morning and midday session. Not yet. So not really getting to VWAP just yet. About 50-ish pennies away from that level as of right now on Micron. So yeah, market kind of doing what the market does. Some craziness. Tesla and Nvidia saying Los Pollos Hermanos. Nice. Yeah, Tesla and Nvidia definitely tickers to keep watch most days. Again, very liquid tickers, very conducive to day trading, but yeah, gotta watch out as well. So they can be pretty aggressive as well. And again, if you got the strategies in the playbook to play on those names, if the setup shows up, then yeah, all the more power to you. Yeah, a lot of people talking about Tesla and Nvidia. So we got an XRP in there as well. Nice shout out to XRP. Yeah, that again, crypto's been taking a pullback here. We talk about that 100K kind of consolidation that we were having, a little bit of a step down into the 70s and 80s as of right now on Bitcoin as well. So yeah, a lot of stuff on watch. I know that you got involved with the BTC through IBIT very often. What is your take currently on the Bitcoin move? Do you think we're going to see 70s? Are we going to see 60s? Or are we coming back into 100? Are we still kind of in a very are we in no man's land?
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's well said. I think that's exactly where we're sitting. Obi
Yeah.
is in no man's land. If we were to just take a look at Bitcoin from a daily standpoint, I would think that would be exactly how I would put it. We are sitting around that no man's land. I would like a test of 90s again. But I think you just need a new wave of participants. Obviously, we're bullish. Yeah. IBIT long term, my largest holding by far. Google being the second largest holding. Tesla no longer, and starting to build a position in Hood. But again, for the long term, I am bullish. IBIT. I have a really great price on it. I bought it shortly after they had that IPO, even though I guess it's like the ETF IPO. I'm like, all right, I think this will be a good buy. And then hopefully 10, 15 years down the road, it's one of those trades where you look at it and it's like, okay, that's your 10 bagger or whatever you'd like to call it right there. But yeah, I'm long-term bullish on Bitcoin. We know that there's a finite supply of this. But one thing to note there as well, too, guys, and as I was just reading through some stuff, with quantum coming into play and everything like that, and all those individuals who know a lot about crypto, hard forking. So you need about 51% of the computing power, and you can fork the underlying. So essentially, you can create more Bitcoin, which again, if the crypto community agrees to do so, it can definitely happen. It's what happened with Bitcoin Cash, so it's been done before, and it's happened with Ethereum Classic, because Ethereum Classic was the first one, and then now that's what we have now is the Ethereum, is because it was hard forked. Wiener would know a lot more about it than me, but again, yeah, I think it's such an iffy space. Like, I don't want to say iffy, but we need a little bit more of a use case. I understand the store value of it and everything along those lines, the blockchain, etc. Yeah, I'll stay bullish until otherwise. Individuals like Michael Saylor, again, hate him or love him, he is what he is. He believes in it, and if the big money is really starting to believe in it, then I think, like, I'd be a fool not to as well. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like some of the music that comes out with as a remix to some of what he says. Michael Saylor, I know that I think there's an artist who makes crypto-related music called Lil Bubble. I don't know if you've heard of him,
No, I've never heard of Lil Bubble.
He has some good mixes. Yeah, Lil Bubble, right? Yeah. He has some pretty good music. I really like him. But if you're ever looking for crypto-related like stocks songs, he does parodies of famous songs. There, he is pretty good at what he does. And yeah, no, there was one. I think there's one called "Going Up." It's like an EDM mix. I think I really like that one there. Yeah, it's like, and it's Michael Saylor saying "Going Up." It just keeps going up, and then it's like remixed to some EDM beats, so it's pretty solid there. But
my issue with this,
yes, Bill and Wood.
What do you say?
We know that song as well. I don't want to say it out loud.
Oh,
have you heard the famous quote from him? He's like, I think Michael Saylor says, "We have a name for people who hold fiat currency. We call them poor." That's what he says.
Well,
there's a song on that as well. So
ask Michael Saylor what he's using to buy Bitcoin. If it's not fiat currency, then I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Fiat, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, the guy's doing what he's doing. Congratulations to them for over there at Strategy. But one thing that I wanted to note on Bitcoin as well too is just the length of the consolidation phases, OB, and then the no follow through. I mentioned before we were just trading within like a $10,000 range for the span of 8 months, and then we moved for about a couple months, and then now we've given back the majority of that of what we've gained on that front. Again, so I would have liked to see some more of that be sustained, some more healthy pullbacks, and then the continuation to 1 1/4, et cetera, whatever it may be. But it just doesn't look like it right now. We didn't get the reaction about the Bitcoin stockpile that I was looking for, or the reserve. So he's not going to use taxpayers' dollars or anything along those lines. He's going to use what they've confiscated from a criminal standpoint, et cetera, whatever they may use, and then look other ways to allocate some more Bitcoin. But I didn't get the reaction out of that. Is it going to be delayed or anything along those lines? Maybe, possibly. I think so. But again, I think it's something that we just have to be continuously be patient with. The volatility comes in and out of the name, and it just comes with the territory. It's like owning Tesla stock, essentially.
Yeah. No, I think, Bitcoin, you definitely want to expect a little bit of volatility there. In the past, we've had, what 40, 50% pullbacks, absolutely aggressive pullbacks as well. So a little bit of looking back at the chart and seeing how the ticker kind of moves definitely helps you stomach some of the moves that it might be currently doing. Again, like I said, if it pulls back, I was like, I'm looking for that 75. 75 didn't really come in. We got to 77s. So I was like, I think 76s or 77s. I was like, all right, that's close enough there on that push. And Bitcoin kind of it popped off that 70, so it's doing pretty decent there. It's consolidating since then in the 80s. But the question now I'm asking is does it have the ability to stair step down? Right? It's like, can we make that stair step down and have some of that beautiful price action there? A good example of a ticker that stair steps is Tesla. You look back at it, a little bit of a stair step squeeze on that ticker as well over the past few years. So, That's where on Tesla. I'm not really watching anything else other than the NASDAQ, Intel, some of the chip names as well. All right, so Ben Fishing with the super chat. What's up? How is your perfect taco made up? This is for the taco fund. All right. So
we gotta pause. This is really controversial here. I gotta hear your opinion because this is a lot more serious than what Ben Fisher is probably expecting it to be. This is really key here. Let me hear your perfect taco.
You want okay? So I like the classic like the pulled beef, the birria.
Okay.
So birria tacos,
there,
absolutely solid. I like the little bit of a hot sauce as well. I like my tacos spicy.
Okay.
So jalapenos.
All right.
Jalapeno, maybe habanero sauce as well. You gotta have the cilantro, the classics as well.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
some
the
guac.
cilantro. Yeah, for sure.
And onions, tomatoes.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's all I needed. Tomatoes in there. So you're more of like the Old El Paso. Let's get the Taco
What do you
Bell.
like? What do you like?
Dude, if I'm going authentic, all you need is a little bit of onion, cilantro, and some of the green sauce that they got going on. So if you know Gus Tacos, for all my fellow Torontonians, then that's a classic one there. You get the birrias there. That's all you need. I heard someone say they don't like cilantro. It's a really it's a miss or hit. It's a hit or miss with cilantro. It's either people love it or they can't stand the smell of it. Okay, so there we go. The Chilean Nightmare chiming in. It is a genetic thing. What is your take on it, Ramin?
Taste soap?
I love it. Yeah.
What, cilantro tastes like soap to some
but that's
people?
the thing. People's taste. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
So it's like either you love it or they feel like it tastes like soap. I love cilantro. I put it in my eggs. I put it in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I'm big that. So thank you, Ben Fishin, for that. I know Sharif's not here, guys, but we're gonna set up that because we got a lot of money for food. We're not doing the food today, are we, Katina Man? No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. He's riding the bear. He's too occupied. They're just continuing to cash in there. So yeah, maybe next week we'll get that. We got more to the taco fund. We got a lot going on. Carnitas are fire as well too. For all my Mexican folks out there, I like sopas as well too, if I'm saying that correct. Love those empanadas. I think that's maybe. I don't know if that's necessarily Mexican. Enchiladas and everything. You bring me in front of any Mexican cuisine, there won't be much on my plate after that. That's for sure.
What do you think the best taco place in Toronto is? You mentioned a spot. What was
Gus?
Gus? Okay,
Gus
cool.
is good.
I gotta check that out.
But also, okay, so it's not authentic. It's not authentic like Mexican tacos. It's more like a Canadian twist to it. It's called Rancho Relaxo, and their jerk chicken tacos are so fire. It has this chipotle mango on it, chipotle mango chutney on it, and it is so good. It's actually like so phenomenal. It's one of my favorite places to go. Yeah. Quesadillas. Yes, there we go, Derek. Yeah, exactly. I'm a Mexican, I guess. Yeah, I'm a Mexican and Canadian. There you go.
Yeah, I like that.
Mexican. That's a good one there. Empanada is Argentina. That's why I corrected myself there. But yeah, we love Mexico here.
Empanada is Argentina. Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's South American. Yeah.
I didn't know that. See, learning something new every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So. But yeah, this market, so with that last 15-minute candle, we printed a little red here, starting off this candle with a little bit of green. So kind of watching that one to see what that'll bring in as of right now. Kenny D saying added on SPY calls. Nice, interesting. Maybe we do get through that 5,700 mark on the SPY. I just got an alert for my VIX. So let's see what the VIX is up to. VIX trading a little bit lower here.
Good, man.
1961 here on the VIX. So nice little push there on that one as that comes in here on the day. So going to continue watching these said here markets and see what we have in store. And yeah, ticking to the upside a little bit on a lot of these tickers as of right now. Let me know in the chat, what are you guys watching? Like, as you guys know, I don't necessarily watch a lot of tickers. I know some styles are to trade multiple different tickers, and that works well for those who's when it's part of your playbook. For me, I like to focus on one or two tickers and maybe use my risk a little bit that way there. And as of right now, just watching Intel, nothing too crazy on this one. But yeah, Softy's attempting to push its highs as well. Again, market's near its highs. We're attempting to push a little bit higher as of right now, but nothing too crazy. No aggressive strength that we got over these past two candles. When did this come in? That came in about 11:15 and 11:30. So those two candles, that bid coming in pretty strong on the market. So maybe a little bit of reversion of some of the selling that we've been having over the past few days there on the market. But yeah, I'm not really watching anything other than chips, that's what I was saying. So ARM, I was mentioning ARM a little bit earlier, so let's take a quick look at ARM and see what that one is up to here. Again, look at this trend, man, absolutely crazy. Some strong consolidation pretty much throughout the day here at VWAP. We finally kind of break out, holding that VWAP on ARM pretty decently, and the other one was SMCI as well. So SMCI, nice little push to the upside on SMCI, continuing to make fresh highs there, 42 incoming on SMCI as of right now. So strong action there on some of those stickers. Pretty much an all-day bid. And let's take a look at AMD as well. I know that AMD is one that I haven't been really giving much love to, but AMD as well, still holding some of that opening range low, trading a little bit higher, more choppy there, but back above VWAP and back into some of these pre-market highs. So let me take a quick look at Nike, because I know Nike, that 68 was interesting. Are we doing anything interesting with that 68? We're trading above that 68 as of right now. So a nice little push on Nike there. Continuation, oh boy, that's coming in real nice. And that one is working well for those longs who were involved in the mornings. Shout out to whoever mentioned in the chat Nike a little bit earlier there. Tesla moves every day, every day. Yes, pro day trader, definitely. Tesla moves every day. On the blockchain, saying Meta about to break out, question mark. I mean, a lot of things have already broken out some of their highs there. You saw that maybe Meta is poised for a little bit of a breakout as well. Current day high 595.09s, currently trading at 594.71, but you can see nice little trend to the upside. It's holding VWAP, so pretty strong on the day is Meta. So are we poised for a little bit of a breakout? Man, we're not that far away. We're only about 20, 30 pennies away from that breakout level. So yeah, if the market does a little bit of a pop and we hold some of these levels, maybe we push towards 19,900 as well. There's that 15.7 on the ES, and yeah, there goes Boeing as well. Nice little push. Let's see if Boeing breaks out as well. That reminds me, we got to take a look. If we're looking at Boeing, we got to take a look at Lockheed Martin as well, as that was trending the opposite way on the same catalyst here. So a nice little quadunk there. No real bounce here, Joe. So absolutely distinct kind of action here. Any sort of bid getting sold into on Lockheed Martin there. So that one's a little bit to the downside as of right now. And I hear Sean saying Micron. Yeah, Micron, oh boy. So Micron, I was looking for that VWAP, Sean, and it's still not here yet. And I think Sean is long on Micron. 94.13, oh boy, nice, solid. Oh, they're trading at 95.06s, so almost with the dollar club as of right now. Pretty much the dollar club right there. 95.47 is that VWAP. I'm watching Micron as well to see if it can come into VWAP and see what it does in and around some of those levels. Chips looking pretty strong here. Market holding that bid, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. We got a couple questions in the chat here too by Saif. Joseph, do you think we go up until next earnings on market, then we sell bigger again? Possibly. Yeah, the earnings could be hindered. What was I referring to earlier? I mean, we are slightly oversold, so I'm not surprised to see the bounces in these names. Can this be sustained? Maybe, possibly. Is there that much confidence in the market? I don't know, but Q1 will be really important. Sorry, excuse me there. It will be really important, and I think we have to be patient for that to come into play. Are we going to grind higher until then? We're just going to have to sit and just follow the price action and see what we got going on. So, yeah, Los Polios, the double doji on Qs worked well. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Nice look there. You had that called out. Some nice hammer candles, some nice indecision, right at volume weighted average price, held relatively strong. So that is a really, really good look. If there's anything you guys want us to go over, just take a look on the options chain, see if we see anything from an open interest standpoint. I'll pull up Tesla here real quick to see where we might start to see some overhead. Resistance, we broke through some key levels, 245, I believe it was 248 is where I seen, okay, so 247.50, 24,000 open contracts, and that's where you can see that we're hovering around right now. So yeah, we'll pull up Tesla. I'll show you guys here on Tesla, and you can see what the high is on. So it's not a coincidence, guys. Can these levels be breached? Absolutely. SMCI 42 call wall, says an individual in the chat. But again, like Tesla 247.50, is where we have that next high level of open interest. We now stalled out at 246.50. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We'll take a look at the market as well to see if there's anything that stands out to us and why are we stalling up here. I mean, we climbed higher, which is a good sign, but now just starting to cool things off. Nvidia is going to struggle to get through 118. I mentioned that before. 24,000 open contracts at 480 on the Qs. Where's the high right now? Let's see if this is going to be respected. 479.24. All right, so. Yeah, NASDAQ is starting to turn positive. That is very, very much true there, Kristen, Norman. So Charlie Chav, Oscar has Tesla to 50 in May, so we should all buy some puts, yeah? I don't know who Oscar is, but he's $50. That I don't even know what to say about that. That would be absolutely disastrous. SPY, please, says Mr. C. Yeah, we'll go over SPY one more time. And then let's see what Dumbo Things Films. Will you look at Tesla's options chain? Okay, yeah, I was just looking at that. So watch for 247.50. We do have some overhead. We do have a potential wall there. There's the most levels of open interest. Let's see if we can get through that. And then 480 on the Qs as well too, guys. So pay attention for those levels. If we break through them, we can most definitely continue to climb higher, or we reject somewhat around there. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do kind of grind up into those levels and then look for somewhat of a pullback. I'll go through SPY one more time before we send it back to Obi. I know Mr. C was asking that. And it's the same narrative, essentially, right? What is this 2S? I got to ask Wayner about this. What is 2 SPY? Because there's two things displayed, and I noticed that the other day. It's like the SPY, and then there's always one that has 2 beside the SPY, and then it's something different that I can never get popped out of. So if anybody in the chat knows what that is, please feel free to let me know. But again, on the chain, 565, highest levels of open interest with 19,000 open contracts. And then you're going to see somewhat of a bounce. There's 63,000 on the put side, 19.2 on the call side. Check out Lucid's options chain. Yeah, I'll do that right after. Can you please go over the small caps? Yeah, we can go over some small caps in a bit. But Obi, what are you up to, my friend?
Yeah, no, we can take a look at some of those small caps as well. But yeah, just watching this Intel continue to grind to the upside here. The market's still kind of holding a little wicky there in and around these levels here. This is around 19.850s here on the NASDAQ. So nice little bit up there. Micron got all the way up to that VWAP as of right now, 37. So 46 is just 10 pennies away from that VWAP on Micron as of right now. So gonna keep an eye on that one there, looking for that selling to potentially come in. Maybe that selling will come in with confluence with the market as well here as we continue to bid a little bit higher here. So just watching, those are the things that I'm watching, nothing else too crazy. Wow, this Intel's absolutely wild there, continuing to aggressively bid back up. 24.50s, oh boy. Absolutely crazy, man. Yeah. This bid is continuing in. So that bid that we got, that aggressive bid, maybe we're getting some continuation here as of right now as we continue to hold on higher highs and higher lows across, not necessarily across the board, but on a lot of these Meg 7 names as of right now. So what do you guys got on watch? I got nothing else. It's almost 1 o'clock. We got about three more hours until the close, man. So gonna keep that on watch. Let's see if it brings us anything special today. So. Are you watching? You're gonna be trading anything on the rebalance? Maybe watching some of these crazy large caps here on the day, perhaps. Yeah, no. Looking at the Mag 7. I know that Neil mentioned prior we had that aggressive move on Apple on a rebalance day, so that was pretty interesting there as well. Yeah, maybe we get another large cap huge mover. I think it was like Apple. I forget when this was, but it was Apple with like a 30 million imbalance. That thing ripped up to the upside there. Aggressive push on Apple through on that imbalance. So maybe we get something like
short imbalance.
Was it a short or
yeah,
was it a long?
It was a short. I remember you telling me it was definitely a short that just dumped and the boys cleaned up on it.
Yeah. Definitely. That one was definitely interesting here. There goes the market continuing to the upside there. So shout out Jimmy Donnelly saying watching Lucid at 201. So yeah, definitely Lucid one to keep an eye out on. Here's Micron back into VWAP. So I'm curious to know if sellers kind of step back in on Micron there at that VWAP level. Let's take a quick look at Lucid as well. So Lucid, okay, so yeah, Lucid, what did you say? At 201, oh boy, so that's a swing. So you have, how long ago was Lucid at 201? That's interesting to know. Let's see, take a quick look. Oh boy, that was, the low was 199, so you got in pretty early there. Let's see, some of these lows, so you got in, I'd say March, middle of March there. If you've been holding that Lucid on that move there, so yeah, nice little push on Lucid multi-day move off of a hold of that $2 level on Lucid. So interesting stuff there.
Yeah, here we go, guys, on Bitcoin. We got this pullback was a little bit too deep, and we got stopped out, break even. But now it's starting to break through these highs. About to go positive on the session as well, too. Not a horrible trade considering that we added to it. So we stuck to the game plan. But just getting back into the trade would have been more ideal. Again, I mentioned to you guys my style more of like a sniper. I would like to classify myself as, right? So I'm looking for precision within the entries and then the ads. We had a nice trade on Amazon earlier in the day as well. And then what else did we trade? Nvidia. So we're getting the entries that we're looking for. We're getting buyers stepping back in to these underlying assets that we're looking to trade here. So that was Nvidia earlier in the day, and then now we're cooking up here. We were cooking up on IBIT, but it's now cracking through. Running into some key zones here, guys, so pay attention. This could be, I'm not going to say we're going to get into the squeeze or anything along those lines, but we're starting to run into some overhead resistance and run into that being slightly extended. So Amazon looking to crack the high day there, OB. Tesla continuing to climb. Definitely oversold, and now that bounce is definitely coming into play here. 247 looks like it's going to be in the works. FXI continuing to climb higher as well, too. A nice hammer doji right at VWAP there. Unfortunately, we missed that because that was one of our better ideas, and I liked how the price action was setting up here. So you can see that hammer candle right at that 5-minute print on FXI at VWAP and holds. Doesn't crack the low, and then that's when you want to play the top end. So that's what we're going to do this weekend, guys. I'm going to do a revised version of VPA, volume price analysis, and then later in the week we're going to go over some of the advanced Greeks. Okay, so that should be some good stuff. And here we go, the market starting to put in a little bit of red. I do believe that we might climb, but the nice flush to the downside. We are extended from VWAP on Tesla, Amazon, IBIT, and Nvidia. So that breakout candle is we had our guest from Trade the Pool on, talked about just following the volume, and that's what you wanted to do. We had this kind of like planned out, and once that volume stepped in, we didn't enter the trade, but now just a nice slow grind, OB, here on NVDA through some of these resistance zones. We're looking to test that pre-market high, and there you go. It got right below it and now rejected. So that's where you want to use it. I mark out certain levels every day. That's previous day's close, PDC, pre-market high, pre-market low, previous day high, previous day low. And those are some of the key levels that I like to play off because they're very highly respected. And you can see a lot of them coming into play here. So a nice shelf there in the pre-market. Some pre-market lows holding as well here. So you get that support, and then you get the resistance, so you get that over-unders type price action there, but that volume stepped in. Nice, strong candle, bullish candle, and then you can continue to the top side there. So yeah, that's the look on NVDA. We're going to wait for a pullback in some of these names, or if there's any topping signals that will be like, hey, we're ready to turn around here and go back to the south side. But mind you guys, it is Friday. OB was waiting for the close. We're going to wait for the close. So yeah, we'll be patient and wait for these trades to come to us.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you gotta, this is what I tell myself as well. It's like, all right, I definitely perform much better when I'm waiting for the trade to kind of fall into my lap and waiting for that setup to kind of show itself to me run through a bunch of checklists as well, being like, is it checking off criteria for my playbook? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? Is this a level? And then you get a bunch of confluence there, and then waiting for all of that confluence to kind of line up for you, and then see if the trade kind of comes in, put that risk on when you have enough confluence. So it's all about waiting for the trade to kind of set up and fall into your lap, and managing your risk along the way as well. So that's something I am trying to get better at along the way as well. Wow, I pulled up Ford a little bit earlier. Ford held that VWAP quite well. Again, traded about 60 million shares on the day today. So Ford trending to the upside, holding that VWAP as of right now, just about cracking that $10 level as well. Nice thick ticker is Ford, and provides you with decent levels there as well, or decent structure to risk off of as well. But Lucid, again, shout out to the chat there pointing out Lucid. I forget who it was, but holding this trade from $2.01. Pretty strong trend on the day today as well. Just continue to watch this one. Couldn't get past that 243 as of right now, but still holding. This market's taking a little bit of a pullback off of this 19.9, so it seems like every 100 points roughly on the NASDAQ, we take a little bit of a pullback here. Let's see if selling can come in, or do we continue to bid up into the close? So that's what I'll be watching for here on the day. Nvidia taking a little bit of a pullback. Tesla got past that level. We got all the way to 246.89s here on Tesla, and taking a little bit of a pullback here, 245. So let's see how much further that can go. But it's still got 11 minutes for this candle to print, man. We got lots of time for this candle to print, so that can potentially come in pretty nicely here as well if the selling does come in. But a lot of these tickers just trending to the upside. If you caught that long off of VWAP or some other place, their prior highs as well, the continuation on this market is absolutely aggressive and grinding to the upside. So got to be careful there. That's me talking to myself, trying to revert some of these moves here as we get that grinding bid price action to the upside as of right now. So nothing else on watch. Jimmy saying Lucid could and probably will take a sharp turn to the downside. Yeah, I have no idea, man. Let's see. I got eyes on it. Let's take a quick look at that one. Or I'm going to keep an eye on that one and take a quick look at it if the selling does come right back in. But it is on my radar now, so thank you for pointing that one out to me. Let's see, Mag 7s, nothing too crazy. We just went over those. LMT maybe starting to catch a little bit of a curl here. Nike still catching that bid. FedEx also continuing to catch a bid here, printing some fresh highs on the day. Intel as well, printing some fresh highs on the day. So some strong trending stocks. Boeing, oh boy. Boeing taking flight off of that news, man. Absolutely crazy that, look at that double top maybe potentially happening. Nice little flag action here. We talked about this action when it was building up, and we're back up towards those highs. So the question becomes now, can we break these highs and continue with this market that's been bidding up so aggressively since about, I guess the aggressive bid came in here, but we've been bidding up since roughly around open as well. We pulled back a decent chunk, gave a decent chunk back, and then gave all that back and more on the market as well. So got to keep eyes on. Nothing else on my radar as of right now. But what do you got going?
Yeah, I'm just talking to Timo. We're having a good conversation in the chat there, Timo. I agree with you. I mean, it happens. Just focus and do your own thing as well, too, right? I've been there, done that. We've all done that. But again, it's just the hesitation, right? And it's just like, oh, okay, why are you hesitating? I go through it all the time, pulling the trigger and smashing keys. So it's nothing to worry about. Just stick to your game plan. If you get stopped out at anything along those lines, just know that you followed your rules and you did what you planned to do, whether it works out or it doesn't. All right. So just keep that in mind and stay focused. So I know you'll get it. So no worries about that at all. Taking a long weekend or what? No, I'm here, Gerald Fitz. I've been here in the chat. I've been talking, been trading as well too. We were in some IBIT from about 12:20 all the way into 12:37. Now waiting for a potential setup. You can see that the market. We talked about some of these levels. I don't know if you guys had them jotted down. 48 on IBIT, 480 on the Qs, 47.50 on Tesla. And we're slightly rejecting those levels, so we'll go over them time and time again. But Timo, I hope you have a solid day. We're only about 1 o'clock, so you still got half the session left, roughly there. So yeah, be patient, wait for that setup. Don't chase up here unless you're looking for the reversion, which I believe OV is still sitting in INTC. So good patience there, my friend. Looking for that breakdown. Actually, let me do something here. Let's see what we got going up here on INTC's options chain, OB.
Oh yeah.
0 DTE. Okay.
Today is Friday?
Yeah, it is Friday.
What are those 25s looking like?
25s? Ooh. All right, that's good for you. 89,000 open contracts on today's expiration cycle on the call side. 49,000 on the put side. That is by far the largest within a 5-point move there on INTC. So I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks down from that. In order for it to grab through the 25s, I think it's large enough participants are going to have to grab that and absorb that liquidity. But so that's looking like some good overhead resistance. Oh yeah, it looks like some good overhead resistance for you. Sorry, yeah, we're going to send it to Adara. Give us 1 second. We're going to do the playmaker poll here, guys. Adara, is it breaking news or? Okay, it is news. We'll send it there. We'll do this after.
Watch out for Microcloud Hologram. This came out, I guess, a couple minutes ago now. They released their earnings, weirdly, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Microcloud Hologram here. Fiscal 2024 EPS much better than their losses for sure last year. Also, revenue increase on a year-over-year basis. With Microcloud Hologram, there's a couple things to know. A, they have had some quantum-related catalysts in the past. B, they tend to rally pretty frequently when they get going. Last February, they ran for most of the month on and off. And C, they have a notable short float of about 45% with a float total of just under 6 million shares. So small float, notable short float for HOLO. Back to the Playmaker poll.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yeah, just documenting yesterday's loss. And then we're going to dive right into today's price action. There we go. So we're going to be at trade 66 here now, guys. 66, where are we going to be entering at the SPY? 563.26. 563.26. All right, so we got that there, and we're going to look for a profit target of 565.26. And then our stop loss is going to be at 562.26. We're going long. We're doing it live. 109. 109, we're in March 21st. Well, I didn't even realize yesterday was March 20th. Okay, there we go. First, there we go, guys. And then 100 shares. So let's see if we can cook up on this one here today. So we gotta fill in some of these data points as well too, and catch up on the cumulative. But there it is, Playmaker poll. We'll have that done by this weekend. Right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's see. How's
that been going?
It's good. We're definitely positive on that. Nice. By quite some bit. Ooh, Obi 24.55 continuing to squeeze here. INTC. How much higher can this name climb? I want to take a look at it from a daily standpoint. See what's going on with this name here. Oh, okay, all right. So, I mean, nothing crazy. A nice base being formed here is possible support. A big engulfing candle as well right there, guys. So, yeah, that's a look. It's going to take some time, I think, in order to break through this and some more positive catalysts. So, yeah, that is INTC. Let's see if this 25 holds up on the options chain, which I think it will here, Obi.
Yeah, that 25 could definitely be interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting look on that holo. Yeah, releasing earnings in the middle of the day. Interesting stuff here. Pushing it back through that $1 mark. 105 current high. VWAP sitting at 87 pennies. There it goes, breaking back below that dollar level here. Let's see if we can get back down to VWAP. I'm gonna watch this one as well. Yeah, I'm kind of starting to watch small caps a little bit more closely. Just because I think they might definitely be worth taking a closer look at as well. So shout out to Sharif. I definitely have to start talking to him about some of the scans that he's running in the mornings to catch some of these. Sometimes a lot of them do show up on my scans overnight and in the morning, but I do tend to miss some of the fresher ones with the morning action there as well. But yeah, small caps, definitely an interesting look. Nvidia. Here on the day, and price action, absolutely crazy on those. You know what I say? It's like, sometimes I'm like, oh, it's too low price, but it doesn't really matter. All you gotta do is move that decimal over a little bit in your head and trade it accordingly.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
It's all relatively the same. Like, who cares what the price necessarily is, as long as it's doing volume, as long as it's playbook. It's in the playbook setup. what does the price really necessarily matter? But maybe part of the playbook is only getting involved with certain price tickers as well. So it could be really anything here. About 3 minutes left on this 15-minute candle to print. Let's see where we go from here. Market's taking a little bit of a pullback here off of that 19,900. We did look like we were going to break out pretty aggressively, but a little bit of a pullback. Almost finished printing this candle. Let's see what it'll potentially bring in for us as the day carries on. But yeah, nothing else really pulling back too aggressively here. Again, maybe in anticipation for another leg up on the day. A lot of these chips still holding within trend. A lot of these Mag 7s still holding within trend that I'm seeing. Let's see, nothing really breaking or cracking any sort of strong trend as of right now. Maybe Nike. Nike's been bid up since the open, like we said. Maybe some selling on Nike. That 68 still a little interesting. We got to a day high of 68.73 as of right now. So going to continue keeping that one on watch. Let me know in the chat what you guys are watching on the day. What do you guys have traded? And how those trades went, like with a show of tickers, you can be like, okay, Tesla, were you up or down on it? Did you take the trade you were looking for? I'm curious to know what kind of trades. I know that Tesla, like we talked about Tesla and Nvidia, a lot of people trading that Tesla and Nvidia pretty much every day, and I think pro day traders said, yeah, Tesla gives moves every day. So I'm curious to know what kind of trades are you taking on Tesla? You don't have to give away the edge. I'm just saying, what classification are you taking? Are you taking something related to VWAP? Are you taking something related to the opening range? Are you taking something related to ATR? I'm curious to know. Or are you using price action? Are you using just intraday structure to look for short-term offside moves and taking scalps off? Lots of different ways to trade these here markets, and I'm always looking for ideas and the way other people are participating in the markets to kind of just compare and contrast with methods of my own, and definitely build and continue to build on my methods, as my methods definitely need a lot of work there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in some TSLS. Shout out to Dara. So that's the inverse there, guys. So yeah, I'll pull it up here just so you guys can take a look at it. So if we get a little bit of a breakdown here, TSLS, then I'm going to use this vehicle here. If we break through 1206, then I'll just get out. So there's a lot of room that I gave on this trade. Just because it is to the short side, I will be looking for VWAP. So hopefully we can continue to climb higher in this one. So shout out to Dara for this one. Much appreciated. Ken, I think this is a fantastic question, all right? Ken, what else do you guys look for entry when everything's just going higher and higher without pulling back to VWAP? I always just end up sitting and watching. That's like, in my opinion, just sitting and watching until you get those specific levels that you want is the right idea, in my opinion. We'll get OBs on that very shortly. But if you're looking for that VWAP pullback and it's not coming into play, then you got to think about, like, okay, how are you going to modify your strategy? How are you going to audible? And what are you looking for to, in a price action standpoint, to change? But if your game plan is, okay, everything is extended right now, Nvidia is starting to pull back towards the volume weighted average price. The market looks like it wants to pull back as well too. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait for VWAP. Then wait for that plan. I think the majority of trading is just sitting and waiting. I sit on cash, and Obi just said, oh yeah, I sitting on cash in the swing account, even intraday, and wait for that opportunity that puts probability more in your favor. So Ken, I like the fact that you just said that, is that there's nothing wrong with sitting and waiting, because look at some of these big names start to pull in right now. Nvidia is just below the volume weighted average price. The Qs are hovering at the high. Can they break down? Absolutely. So just continue to be patient and wait for those opportunities that you know that you have a definitive edge in. Obi, I don't know how you feel about that one.
No, definitely. I think that's something I'm trying to do more as well, and then risking accordingly to those as well. It's like, all right, if something playbook shows up, are you risking the appropriate amount? Are you risking, like, first of all, you need to recognize if it's an A, B, or a C trade, and how often it comes up, and how much of your daily risk are you really willing to put on those trades? And yeah, waiting for those playbook trades to really show up, and not spending too much on just noise as well. That's a big part of the risk management game as well. Let's see what Adara is up to.
Keep an eye on ORCL here. It took quite the tumble. About a minute ago, it was reported here that apparently ByteDance's existing investors are frontrunners in the talks to acquire TikTok's U.S. operations. So ByteDance runs TikTok in China. There have been numerous reports suggesting that Oracle or Larry Ellison of Oracle were in the running to acquire or lead a group trying to acquire TikTok's U.S. operations. Now we're hearing reports that it's actually just ByteDance's existing investors now trying to take over the U.S. operations as well. So keep an eye on ORCL taking a bit of a tumble there at that catalyst. Other stocks that tend to move on this type of story about TikTok include Snapchat and Meta. You could also keep an eye on Google because they do have YouTube, guys. Back to you.
All right. Yeah, definitely some tickers to watch out for. That the TikTok buyout news that's been it's been a little bit of a topic over the past year or so.
Seen Jimmy wanted to buy it out there.
What's that?
Jimmy.
Jimmy? Who with Jimmy?
Mr. Beast.
Oh yes. He was like, apparently he like mentioned it, and then all of a sudden he gets like a bunch of calls for like people who are interested in kind of supporting him on that endeavor. It kind of makes sense too. He's done well in terms of his social media presence. And the YouTube channel that I don't know if he's 100% in charge of running it anymore, but definitely a big part of making the calls, making the shots there, and could be interesting.
I mean, I think he still does, man. I'm sure he calls all the shots, but I'm saying it's definitely not the same as when he first started off, where just one person kind of starting the channel. Now he's got a whole team that kind of works. Yeah, exactly. Good point. Did you watch the Beast games?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I've seen clips from it, but yeah.
So there's this one point, Obi, so it's like there's a $5 million grand prize.
Yeah.
And there's like the final like 5 or 6 people, whatever it may be, and you have the opportunity to flip a coin to double the pot or eliminate yourself. What are you going to do? Are you flipping that coin? So there's the pot stands at $5 million, regardless, if you get eliminated or not. But if you flip that coin and it lands on the side that you call, it now doubles the pot to 10 million. But if it doesn't, then you're eliminated, and everybody else still gets to compete for that 5 million. Are you flipping that coin to add an additional 5 million to that? No?
It's a 50-50%.
Neil's saying no. Right? Neil's saying no way.
So wait, what happens if I lose? I just get disqualified, and then if I win,
only you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey, man. There we go. That was it. That was the thing. There you go. Easy on.
Everybody benefits if you flip and win, and only you lose if you lose. Who would flip in that case? Were you just the most altruistic person in the world? Like, hell no. No, it's a competition.
Unless your flip game is strong.
No, man, it ain't the Beast goodwill. It's the Beast games.
Yeah.
No, heck no. What are you talking about? And you know what? You know what really grinds my gears? When I used to watch what's that the one with the briefcases. That show. Like Deal or No Deal. I mean, you're going on that game. It is just pretty simple. Like the amount of people that would make some just nonsensical decisions in Deal or No Deal, I'm like, you're going on there. Just understand the basics of the game. It's kind of like how after a few seasons, everyone understood what you should do when the price is right. And so anybody that didn't understand how to bid properly was just like, what are you doing? This is not complicated stuff. That's how I felt about Deal or No Deal after a couple of seasons. But come on, man. Like, why would you take a risk that equally benefits the entire group but only hurts you if you lose? There's just no chance that's an optimal decision for you. But anyway, that's just my two cents.
Did you watch it?
And you know what? I have not seen the Beast games. I've heard that it's interesting to watch, and at some point, if I just don't have enough time. Like I basically get like 20 minutes a day if I'm fortunate to like throw a show on at the end of the day, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I have a long list of shows that I'm supposed to get into. It's just there's not enough time in the day. But back to you guys. That was just my 2 cents. I had to jump in there.
Yeah, I get you have to jump in on that one, right? So you said you're not flipping that coin, Obi?
No, probably not. That's why I wanted to make sure. But thank you, Neil, for clearing that up. Yeah, but
Fabian says he would flip it. Ramin, would you flip it? I feel like you would. But you can't make a truce.
That's not an option.
Like that.
Ramin's saying she's making a truce with someone.
But I see where you get. You can bargain though. It's like, hey guys, if I flip this, all right. If I flip this and we get that 5 million, whoever wins the pot owes me like a quarter, like 2.5 or something along those lines.
You gotta be. I'm
just saying. Ramin said she wants to bargain, and that's how I would bargain. The guy ended up winning $1 million anyways after. He got lucky, I think, on that front. Anyways, I just might have spoiled it for some people. I apologize for that. But I mean, he ended up winning $1 million, but it's not $10 million. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's all fun and games, but yeah, definitely got to be
all fun and games.
You got to be good at assessing.
You can take it.
Saying she can take 1 million and turn it.
Oh.
How do you turn Bitcoin? 1 million into 10?
Are you going to go Bitcoin?
That's pretty hard.
Are you going Bitcoin or no?
What was it? I think it was. There was an interview with the CEO or the founder of Interactive Brokers. And he basically said, I think he said something along the lines of the first 100K or maybe the first, I don't know if he mentioned 100K, but he definitely said the first million is hard. The first 10 million is definitely hard. After that, it's steady cruising. Because I guess that kind of makes sense. If you have $1 million and you have the ability to change that million into 10, then maybe that's confirmation that you might know how to flip game strong, right?
Yeah, flip game real strong. Flip game real strong at that point. Yeah. No, that's a valid point. But I think $1 billion is a different stratosphere. So to get there, like 100 million is obviously like, yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
What's a good way to become a billionaire? You make a bunch of millionaires.
Yeah.
In the process.
Okay, there you go.
You know, you got to provide. You got to provide.
You got to provide the people a service.
Yes.
Exactly. So,
yes.
So there you go. Bargaining was not allowed contractually there, says Eduardo. So we couldn't bargain there. I mean, they wouldn't have taken our offer. If nobody flips and nobody wins, as there is no money, I guess. Is stealing the case and crossing the border an option? Hey, anything is an option at that point. So Grok, okay, we got a $2 super chat back into the markets here, guys. Grok was right. Spicy, Darwin, thanks for BA News. Good stuff there. Rated V, Joseph, you couldn't make deals like that. It was written into their contracts from what I heard on an interview with Mr. Beast. Yeah, it sounds fair enough, and we heard that. So you can't make any bribe or anything along those lines. So interesting stuff there from Mr. Beast. It looks like Tesla wants to start squeezing. If we crack through the high here, guys, then I'll just get out of the trade and wait for it to turn around. You see that we rejected 118 on Nvidia. There's a lot of OI there. So if we break through this high on Tesla, then I'll just get out of Dodge. But it doesn't want to seem to capitulate or break down into VWAP just yet. I do believe sellers will step in at some point, maybe not today. But again, if we crack 47, I'll just get out of the trade. It's only a starter one. If it were to start working and we were to break through support at 244, then I would add into the position on the way down. So yeah, that is that on Tesla and some of the broader market. You can see here, guys, that NVDA came right back into its breakout range and is holding it fairly well. So you see the support level. We had this previously drawn from the day earlier in the day. Now we are holding very, very, very steadily at these levels and looking for the continue of the climb to the top side, but we might break down here. We'll see. We'll be patient. Bylan, what are you saying? Bylan, why are you saying damn it, Joseph? I'm curious to what your thoughts are, my friends. I know I'm short Tesla. But again, let's see if it can break down 245.71. I just don't want to get squeezed. So if we crack this local low right here, we'll get out of Dodge. So that's only about 12 cents risk. We're at like a quarter our risk as well too. But I'm looking to add as we curl up and then get in the money, and then we can add for that breakdown and look for that target of the volume weighted average price. How you cooking up there in INTC, brother?
Intel continues to bid up, so definitely a little bit of a fight of the trend here. Looking at again that hollow ticker as well, as that continues to reclaim that dollar level. So that was pretty interesting there. So that's kind of coming in as of right now, still holding its gains. So interesting stuff on that one there. Market taking we did pull back. Now we're just chopping sideways on where we kind of consolidated a little earlier here on the Nasdaq. Got about 3 minutes left on. Okay, so about 3 minutes left here on that 15-minute candle to print. There's a bit of breaking news, so let's see what Adara has to say.
On Coinbase, apparently the company is set to be in advanced talks to buy Deribit, which is a crypto exchange. I'm not seeing a source of this just passing through an X, but Coinbase reportedly in advanced talks to buy crypto exchange Deribit. I've heard some talk about a potential transaction for Deribit previously, but regardless, this triple top here on Coinbase leading to a bit of a drop as we get some rumors here, some talk here on X that Coinbase is in discussions here for Deribit. Back to you.
Because I would really like to see Meta close red. Why is that? I'm curious. But yeah, here we go, guys. Market's starting to come back in. Let's see if we can grab into the volume-weighted average price. I don't want to call this a head and shoulders, but it looked like it on the 5-minute here, guys. So you get shoulder one, head, shoulder two. But then it just squeezed. But then it looks like we're kind of forming the same thing here. You can see we're hovering around these pre-market levels. So always keep those marked out like to a T, guys, right? To a T. That's where you open up in the market here this morning, and then we reject off of them. So those are coming into play really well. I mentioned 565 in the SPY as well, so keep that out. And then we got the pre-market, nice pre-market base right here that has been respected on multiple zones. So let's see if we can come back in and touch this, and we can break through some support levels here on Tesla. If we do so, if we break 1280 and it looks like price wants to curl over, then I'll just add a little bit to the position. But we're sitting pretty good right now. Coinbase really starting to sell. I know Obi pulled that one up. Were you looking at Coinbase?
Yeah, I did pull it up.
Yeah. So you can see that selling pressure really start to kick in here, guys. On Coinbase, dragging itself down. I guess I'm not going to say the market is not heavily weighted enough, but here you go, constructing higher lows though, which is also positive. If it cracks through this support line and this trend line, then maybe we'll see some more downside here. But IBIT continuing to sell as well here, guys, so keep that in mind. Crypto looking relatively weak. Nvidia hovering around the volume-weighted average price. The Q's running into some support levels right now, and Tesla just hovering around those highs. Obi.
Yeah, so we did get a little bit of a pullback here, breaking that prior kind of level that we bid up from. So again, I'm kind of watching to see what is really breaking the bid here. So some of the tickers that were strong earlier were ARM and maybe a little bit of AMD, Intel as well, pretty strong, but nothing too crazy in terms of breaking that bid. Nike, though, oh boy, here comes Nike. So Nike is one of the tickers that is starting to pull back here. So a nice little pullback down. So selling coming into Nike. Back below that 68 mark, pulling in pretty nicely here. So finally, this bid that we got for about over 3 hours, man. Wow, what a bid. About 3 hours worth of a bid. Finally, some selling coming back in, breaking that trend. Let's see if we can get a reversion to VWAP here. 66.86 is VWAP, trading at 67.64. So definitely missed out a little bit on this one here on the day, but yeah, had to keep a closer eye on it and to catch some moves like this. But yeah, you got to watch for the tape turn, you got to watch for the trend break, you got to watch for confluence for a bunch of levels, and even then, the trade might not be as good as I think it is. So yeah, had to be watching that one there. No real break of a bid. Are you guys watching anything else as of right now? Is anybody short on anything? That's a good question, I think. With the market trending to the upside here, I'm curious to know how many people are short and what they are short in, or are you long? Are you looking for this move to continue to the upside? Something that's continuing to the long side pretty nicely is FedEx. So we can take a look at FedEx here. What a beautiful kind of bid, continuing to hold since the opening range low was printed all the way up to 228.5. So a nice, beautiful continuation, strong trend on FDX. Day one earnings, reverting a big piece of that move. We sold off pretty aggressively on that one there. What's up, Adara?
Just be aware here, we do have a bit of a catalyst coming through for a series of companies. Taking notice here, and I'm reading the notice right now, the U.S. International Trade Commission, or USITC, has voted to institute an investigation of some foreign fabricated semiconductor devices. Basically, some of the companies that are going to be implicated or have been identified as respondents in the investigation and therefore will be investigated include Apple. We also have Broadcom on watch here, AVGO, Lenovo, Motorola, Taiwan Semi, so TSMC, and Qualcomm. So ticker-wise, you're going to want to keep an eye here on AAPL, AVGO, TSM, and QCOM, as we do have here some notice coming in from the U.S. International Trade Commission. They're going to be investigating these companies. Back to you.
Okay. So some investigations coming in. So yeah, should be watching some of those tickers there. You see that you are involved in a little bit of Tesla TSLS. You're long TSLS.
Yes, yeah.
So you're short Tesla.
Exactly.
Nice,
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I think that's a what kind of 3 times level?
It's only one, actually.
One time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly, it's only 1-to-1 there. I didn't. I know. I think it's TSLZ. That is 2 or 3 to X leveraged on that front.
Okay.
So yeah. But yeah, it's looking like it wants to squeeze here, guy. Day trader cut. That's I have my full 401k in on this short. All right, you're short, but I'm short too. Day trader cut.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you're short. You're short Tesla, right? Confirm that. Because I'm short Tesla. I'm just using an inverse ETF, a vehicle to short it. So it's essentially just trading long, but I'm synthetically short, if that makes sense. All right. Time for SQQQ. Yeah, if you think that's going to go, if you think the Qs are going to go lower, then yeah, you can start to long for SQs. With TSL, TSLQ, yeah, we use TSL around here. Obi, can you look at SMCI? Someone asked us to look at NAK, sorry. So we'll pull up Northern Dynasty Miners. Oh, okay, nice breakout here. Yeah, day trader cut. Let me know. Are you short Tesla? Because I am too. And you said you want me to get squeezed out, but I'm on the same side of the trade as you. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, here we go. Northern Dynasty Minerals, nice breakout on this one. Ooh, and I guess a lot of sideways price action here, but you get that breakout on the daily, and that volume is starting to pick up a little bit as well too there, guys. So keep that in mind. That's a good look there on NAK. Yeah, looking like Tesla wants to climb higher and day trader cut. Please let me know because I'm curious to see what side of this trader you're on. But again, I'm not too risky right now. If we break through 1206, I'll just get out of the trade and then look for it to possibly turn around again. 247.50. You got one thing to note as well is that I always use this term and it just stuck with me. It's just my preference. Shorting strong stocks like this doesn't always work out that well. Look how strong it is. That just means sellers don't necessarily want to step in right now. And look where we are sitting from a base, right? We're down 50% from these all-time highs, 50% from peak to trough, now sitting at around 49%, 49.5%. So you might get this rebound here in this name, and it looks like it wants to crack through the highs right now. So gonna get out of that trade and Mr. Day Trader cut. I hope you're not short Tesla right now. So yeah, I'm trading futures. I haven't touched Tesla all year. I was joking. Okay, all right. That's a very big brain move of you to inverse long short a stock. So Joseph adds, so he probably saw it as a long Tesla. There you go. Big brain.
Yeah, you can use. There's so many vehicles.
Not really working
in the market, right? There's so many vehicles to get long, to get short. But yeah, no, TSLS definitely. It's lower price. It's maybe a little bit more liquid. The spread is a little bit better. So I can understand why you definitely want to get involved with something like a TSLS or a TSLL. And you said the levered one was TSLZ?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah. So I can definitely understand the reason
3x short.
behind
Yeah, it's
that
a 3x short.
there. Yeah, no, I'm taking a little bit of a hold of this 19.8 here on the NASDAQ. So let's see, I gotta keep an eye on this 15 here. So we still have about 9 minutes left for this to close. I'm gonna see if, again, if we're holding, we're technically, as of right now, we are holding 19.8. So that's what the action is showing us. No idea how it's going to close, but we have 9 minutes left for said close to happen. So let's keep an eye out on these here markets. A lot of news coming out as well. I know that Trump might have been speaking a little bit earlier as well. And let's take a look. LMT still trading near its lows, and Boeing still trading near its highs. So those catalyst intraday news trades, definitely continuation on those, working quite well as of right now on those tickers. So wow, okay, so NASDAQ, the TQs actually got all the way to a day high of 61.70, taking a little bit of a pullback here at that, currently trading at 61.14 here on the TQ. So nice little pullback off of that 19,900 on the NASDAQ. Let's see if that acts as a little bit of a resistance on the day.
Resistance, guys. It's time. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees, guys. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's instant everything. Everything infinite, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Gonna pop out of this trade here. All in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading. Scan the QR code and check the link in the description there, folks. That is e-signal. You can scan that QR code right there, and you can see that Tesla started to squeeze to the top side. Let's see if this 47.50 comes into play. We broke through that high. Let's see if we can get somewhat of a rejection up here. So there you go. That's exactly why I do not short strong stocks there, Obi.
Yeah, I mean, I might be a little opposite there.
Yeah.
I like to look for the strong stock and be like, all right, well, this is really strong on the day. I'm going to, so for example, if something's selling off aggressively, right? If something's selling off aggressively or something is bidding up aggressively, I'm like, all right, well, I'll let this bid happen, let this bid occur, and kind of observe to see if the buyers are really stepping up, see where they've stepped up, and look for the first kind of sign of weakness in that trend here. Oh boy, Rogelio. Sorry for mispronouncing that name. Definitely butchered that a little bit there. Talking about hollow, so definitely got a hollow back at this price action here as it holds that $1 level, $1.20. So wow, 20% pop off that dollar hold on hollow. So absolutely crazy there. Nice little push to the upside on hollow. So a lot of people talking about that. Hollow, another leg up. Yeah, another leg up on hollow. Pretty aggressive. Didn't really revert back down to VWAP. VWAP currently sitting at 96 pennies on hollow. So going to continue keeping that one on watch. I know a lot of you guys are watching it alongside us as well. So definitely some decent opportunities on that one there as it breaks past that dollar mark and continues to the upside. Now, don't forget, this is a ticker that has done things like this in the past. But again, intraday fresh news definitely giving it a little bit of oomph. Let's see if that oomph can continue into the end of the day. VIX still sitting at 1966s. So 1966 is the VIX as of right now. Nice little consolidation build up here on Boeing as well. So let's take, I'm going to pull up, not Baba, Boeing as well. Look at that nice little flag. Let's see if it can break this 183 going into the end of the day here. So very strong on this news. I think this morning I did read a tweet about something about multi-billion-dollar investment in a new jet, and I was like, well, who is the number one contender for that kind of a deal? And I did remember, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be Boeing. Like, who else are you really going to give that deal to? And boom, bang, there it is right here. So coming in with relative volume and that aggression, Boeing on the day, pretty strong. And again, sympathy, well, inverse happening here on LMT as well. Cannot catch a bid. It tries to catch a little bit of a bid a couple times. 445s was this high. 448s can't really get through, can't even get to VWAP, but now sideways consolidation. So pretty much a dead cat bounce if there was one happening here on Lockheed Martin. Market's kind of aggressively bidding back up. Let's see if that bid is coming into some of these other names alongside the market.
Yeah, for sure there, Obi. I'm going to give this one more stab. Here, I'm going to try it because we got a much better price at these highs as we crack through some of the local highs there, guys. So we'll give this one more stab to see if we can break down. The market does seem relatively strong, so I don't mind abandoning this thesis of the 47 of this level of open interest here on Tesla, as it looks like it wants to continue to just grind higher and higher. So I'll feel no way about it if it doesn't come into play. But yeah, excuse me, we'll be patient to see if it does want to break down. But again, it's a really strong name, so it may take some time. Yeah, so again, that's the name of the game. We'll hold off until 248. If we break this low, then I'll probably just get out and look for something else. Nvidia bouncing off of the volume-weighted average price, and then the Qs and the SPY are also climbing higher as well. They're OB, so that will not be too good if you are looking to trade short. What has Apple been up to on the day? Let's take a bite out of this one. Continuing to climb higher and higher here. Pulling back a little bit here, which is a positive sign. But this is just something to note. Now I have more of a defined risk profile. I'm only risking a couple cents on this trade, opposed to me being all the way up here near the top end of the range, which would be the bottom end of the range here on Tesla. But then we just got out here, and then we just have the ability to reposition our trade here right at the lows and see if we can get somewhat of that pullback, because we did make that extended push to the top side. So yeah, that's the game plan. There is, Los Polios did mention this on the cues. I like that. On the pullback, you're recognizing these hammers. That could be a good signal. As you can see, there is a nice support base at that level as well too there, Los Polios, so at 561.50. So good luck there on that front. It got a nice bounce off of it, especially if you played the crack of that. You get 50, 60 cents to your name. Now let's go here, Tesla. Please break down. Well, not please, but let's see if we can break down here and climb back to the bottom end of this range. This could have been a liquidity grab, just a little extra push, but things seem to be working out. If we continue to climb and it looks like we want to slowly roll over, I will be adding to this position here, Obi.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe things are starting to catch a little bit of a rollover, but again, I have to go back and consider the dominant trend since the open has been the buying, which is starting to get a little bit more and more apparent as we take these pullbacks and hold a little bit higher here. You can see the market came all the way up to 19.8s, came all the way back down below 19.7s. The bid came in pretty aggressively, broke through those highs, came in all the way up to 19.900. Pulled back to 19.8, and now we're kind of holding, consolidating sideways on that one there. So yeah, maybe a little bit of the break of the bid potentially, but Boeing with some fresh highs as well currently. So that one made it. FedEx continues to make some fresh highs as of right now. Let's see what Adair is up to.
I want to recap here this Coinbase story because I mentioned it earlier. Now I'm really seeing it circulate on X quite heavily. So Bloomberg, we now have the news source, Bloomberg reporting that Coinbase is in advanced talks to purchase a crypto exchange called Deribit, that is spelled D-E-R-I-B-I-T. Apparently, again, I want to repeat this, Bloomberg reporting that Coinbase is in advanced talks to acquire a crypto derivatives exchange called Deribit. So keep an eye on this one. Again, we kind of had a drop when this news was first reported. Now it's circulating around on X, and we get a little bit of a rebound here, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so dissemination of news. Interesting how that kind of comes in sometimes. So you see that happen, like a news will come out somewhere, you get a little bit of a volume spike, and then not really too much else, and then later on it starts to kind of start to trend and more people have eyes on, and then maybe you get that more bit of volume coming in to the ticker to take it in the direction you're potentially looking for or not. But yeah, something definitely to watch out for. There goes both the futures, the ES and the NASDAQ to the upside here with that aggressive bid pulling us right back into 19.9s on the NASDAQ and then 57.10. So 5,710 on the ES as well. Yeah, have you switched over your futures contract here? I just remembered today yesterday.
April contract now, yeah.
Yeah, so we are now on the M contract here as of right now. So going to continue. Again, the prices sometimes a little bit, or they were different a couple days ago, and I was like, wait, this makes no sense. Some of these prices for my futures on my charting platform and my P Pro not really lining up, and it was the contract change there. So yeah, just continuing to have eyes on these tickers. Market is super strong, man. We're just holding structure after structure, bidding back up here on the day. So pretty strong move into the close here. Again, rebalance day today. A lot of options expiry happening as well. So let's be patient. Let's wait and see if we get any aggressive moves coming in. The only aggressive move that I've seen since I've been sitting down at my desk has been this one right here on this, what is that, 11, so around 12 to 12:15 candles here on the NASDAQ. That bid did come in pretty aggressively, so that gave us a push. Now that bid is kind of dissipated, so Yes, Adam Deleuze, you are 100%. You are 100% right. That's exactly. You gotta do your best to have a mindset of an athlete, and that's what I'm trying to build. Obviously, not perfect, nowhere close to where I'm trying to be, but definitely on the journey there. Growth is definitely part of the process, and growing pains also part of growth as well. So, gotta take it all as a bundle of learning there and continue on that journey. So yeah, shout out to Adam Deleuze. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah, let me know when you're coming back to Toronto. That was interesting. That was fun. It's a good time here. Yeah, just watching these markets here. Let's see what the market does. No idea. Something that's been piquing my interest as of late is just execution strategy, right? Like, I don't know what the market's gonna do, but say I have execution strategy for scalping, right? And I was going through this idea with Jose in the back just a couple days ago after the close. And I was like, look, coming into the open, I don't know what the market's gonna do. But say that I have a little bit of a bias. I have a bias to get short, I have a bias to get long, whatever it is. I can have an execution structure on the price action that gets me short and has me covered if and when that move shows up for the scalp. I don't have to really know or care what the market does or know where the market's going, but if I'm adhering to that execution set, I realize that I would do well just taking those pieces off, even on an uptrend. Say the ticker is uptrending or the market is uptrending on the day. If I have execution sets for taking short trades and I'm only following those, it can still be an effective method to extract chunks off of the market while still being on the counter trend. Right? And yeah, sure, one can argue that being with the trend is much easier, more forgiving, 100%. And sometimes I get lucky, and my idea, my thesis, my bias on the day gets me with the trend, and it's a much easier trade as well. So that's kind of what I've been thinking about as of recent, being like, all right, well, execution sets, where do they work well? What kind of market structure, regime, or volatility do they work well in? And kind of building on those ideas as well. So that's kind of a little bit of a rant, but execution structure definitely very important. Something I definitely have to get much better.
Okay.
With.
Oh, Mon said I have a question for Obi, but then removed it. So it's all good. If you want to put it up there, I'm sure he'll be glad to open it. Oh, Adam Deleuze, when I can come over again, I will let you know. He says to you, Obi. So there you go.
Come through.
Yep. So Tesla has some nice wicks on the weekly. Yeah, that's what everybody's telling me to the downside. I don't think this is a good short, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if I get stopped out here momentarily. It wants to continue to climb higher. 1203, we'll just get out of the trade. Yeah, again, just there's no topping signals or anything along those lines, so we'll just hop out of it. We're not going to get that ad, and I don't believe it's going to break down just yet. So yeah, that is that, guys. And plus the SPY and the Qs are starting to trade higher. They're at the high day as well too. So yeah, not too good look on the shorts. And that's the thing, right? You don't necessarily want to fight the trend. Tesla is about to make a 1 minute hammer on the weekly. About to make a hammer in the weekly. Looks like it wants to end up today high and today on a high end. Yeah, I agree with you on that front. I don't think this is a short. After I realized that it doesn't want to break down, it's not rejecting those high levels. There's no need for me to continue to force a trade that's necessarily not going to be there. There's nothing from a price action standpoint that's telling me that we're going to continuously break down here. So yeah, that's it for me. We hold this, then I'll just hop out of the trade. So not much holding time left. I'm not going to risk too much on this thesis because I just don't like playing that revert back to the mean when the underlying asset is extremely strong here. So there's nothing here on the 5 minute time frame that's telling me, hey, we're ready to turn around, Joseph. So you can still see that buying pressure in these candles and everything along those lines. So and the genuity in these here. So nice, strong, healthy candles to the downside. And the same thing as we crack that high day, you get those nice, strong, and healthy prints. So there it goes. Breaks higher. Breaks a little higher there, guys, and it looks like it just wants to grind. It is getting closer to 2 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Friday, so things are going to cool down. But I mean, near the end of the day, you're going to probably see some of that volume pick up, and that's what we're going to be sitting here waiting for. looking forward to that. We'll go over some of the trades that we had on today, guys, the ones that worked out and the ones that haven't. So we'll start with, we didn't trade TSLA. We will start with TQQQ. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, so there we go. This was our trade earlier on the session on the TQs. We got a little pop, nothing crazy there, guys. And then we just got stopped out break even. I was like, enough is that. I could tell that the price action was moving to the eastward, and I don't want any part of that. AMZM. Amazon, this was our trade on Amazon earlier in the day too, which worked out really well for us there, guys. So that was Amazon, nice sitting on the break and then climb higher, and then we'll pull up our NVDA, and those will be the names that we traded. I didn't wait. I didn't get it at the open. I just could tell that the underlying was definitely too soft. But here we go, right here, a nice entry, stop out, break even, which is somewhere around there. Oh, no, that was just a full punch. Enter again, got stopped out there, and then we entered that trade again, and then that one worked out really nice for us. And then we had some IBIT cooking up as well, too, earlier in the day. We didn't grab the longer end of that trade, but that's okay. We always find another thing. Another potential trade. So we entry number one didn't work out. Should have been in a little bit lower, but I'm like, okay, if we break through VWAP and hold, I'm just going to double the position. So we just went in here and then doubled it up. So that worked out really nice to the long side there on all of those trades. So Joseph, the tell on TSLS was it rejected 200 MA and fell below. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use TSLS as your gauge, right? It is mirroring Tesla, the actual underlying asset. So just use that, right? I have Tesla up here in the corner, so I can just gauge what it's up to, and then I'm just using TSLS as my vehicle to actually trade it. So no, I don't hate Tobes. I don't hate Tesla, to be honest with you. I don't. I'm gonna get back into this name. There's no doubt about it. I think that when the robo fleet's out, and then you got the Optimus, these humanoid robots coming out as well too. I think it's gonna double the market cap in this company. Danny Ives says that, but he's really lagging. Like, you guys got to take into consideration that Waymo's already been on the ground. And all my fellow American, well, I'm not American, but all my American friends, you guys know, you see Waymos everywhere, right? They're out there. Where is Elon's autonomy? I don't see it. I know you got FSD and everything along those lines, but I want something to pick me up. I want that robo taxi and everything else to come out, and it's just taking too long. His mind's too occupied with other things, and then it's just continuing to lag. So again, 2026, late 2025 is when we might see those models coming out there, Obi.
Yeah, I can't wait for the robo taxi there. Definitely, I mean, Ubers and Lyfts are getting pretty pricey here. So I'm curious to know what the pricing structure of that transportation is going to be. But very excited nonetheless for that technology to come out. Some of that FSD. I don't know if you've seen some of the newer videos. I think I was watching a couple of weeks ago. Buddy took the latest version of the FSD on a drive on dirt roads in the mountains in China or something.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that video? And it handled those dirt roads pretty well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's good. That's
so that was very interesting to see that the FSD, how far the FSD has come, and being able to handle dirt roads, no signs, no lines on the road, just looking at objects, looking at the trail, and really kind of maneuvering.
Was it
some
in
of
a Tesla?
It was in a Tesla. Yeah, it was in a Tesla. I forget which model. It might have been the Y, might have been something else, but I got to go back and check what that model specifically was. But yeah, thanks, Day Trader Cut. Definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go, Obi. Got you with that one there, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Spring break. Yes. Yeah. Can't say too much about that one.
No.
Right? Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 5 minutes left, man. Like, the market came back to 19,900. We came and kind of wicked those highs. Let's see if we get that continuation. Again, still only about 4 minutes left for this 15-minute candle to print, and the show to end as well. So hopefully you guys had a good midday session there. Thanks again to Joe for the options lesson. You said more advanced Greeks coming in next week.
Yeah, next week.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's always interesting. Those Greeks, man, they're always a little confusing to me, but yeah, I think you'd agree once you wrap your head around them. becomes a little bit easier.
It's like
right?
it's no different than screen time, man. Once you just mess around with them enough and just read about it, just you get those light bulb moments all the time, and okay, that makes sense, that makes sense, that makes sense, etc. Right? So yeah, that's it. We'll do some of that, and we're starting to pull back a little bit here in Tesla. So I added to this position. The momentum isn't necessarily there, so TSLS. But here you can see we got stopped out on this first entry. Not the best, like I should have been out a little bit closer, but I was just willing to give it more space. Then we hopped in, added to the position as we broke. Looks like the market wants to pull back in. If Nvidia wants to drag it down, as of right now, I'll be happy about that. So yeah, we'll be patient, great mid-shade. Yeah, thank you for that one. Thank you, the dude trader, much appreciated. Timbo Slice says Jaws. All right, Kimbo Slice, remember, R.I.P. Kimbo Slice.
Kimbo, I saw this Timbo Slice.
Yeah, it's Timbo Slice, but I'm saying R.I.P. Kimbo.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, R.I.P. Kimbo Slice. Joseph watches the Maverick of Wall Street, then tells you kids the ideas he's heard last. I don't even know what that is. It's Timbo Slice. What is the Mavericks of Wall Street? Obi, do you know that?
No idea.
I have no idea. Yeah, there you go. So I guess that's how good my advice is. I don't even know what you're talking about, and I seem to be sounding pretty good. So there you go. DD, if half the world wants to see Elon begging for welfare, they are pizzaing when they should be French fried. Okay, I don't really understand that one, but again, yeah, he's a YouTuber. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm assuming Timbo Slice is probably a little bit younger than I am. So yeah, I'm not that too big in the YouTube world. I know Jimmy and a couple other guys. Other than that, yeah. So sorry about that, my friend. Let's see what else we got going on. Only a couple minutes left, Obi. How's that INTC working out for you?
I mean,
there,
it's
brother?
going sideways as of right now. We are closing pretty strong to the downside here on this 15-minute candle on both the futures. You can see about 2 minutes left, and trading all the way back down. Kind of bit of a sell there. And oh boy, Nike. You guys were talking about in the chat, but oh boy, indeed, look at this beautiful reversion on Nike. Absolutely beautiful. So a little bit of a push back down. Look at that, back through that 68 mark as well. Definitely missing out on this one. Am I going to get FOMO? Not really, but the trade was there. I see the trade. I'm going to document it and kind of not necessarily move on, being like, all right, if I was here, this is, and if I was maybe potentially a little bit more focused on this ticker here on the day. Again, earnings day one on Nike, definitely in play, decreasing volume, and then the bid falls off, the bid that's been holding since the morning session. Yeah, I definitely want to get a little bit involved with that one there. Maybe not an A++, but definitely something that comes around, I guess, a few times a month there. But off of earnings, that confluence definitely makes it a little bit juicier as well. So shout out to anybody who had the short, and shout out to anybody who had the long off of the morning session as well. You can see, look at that nice little stair step all the way up. 66.89s is currently VWAP. 67.50 is currently trading at there. So you can see that selling coming in. Look at those elevated volume candles as well when that selling kind of starts off, giving you some more confluence for that pullback here. So let's see if the market's got about 30 seconds for this candle to close, and we have about 30 seconds for the midday to close as well. So you got any last words, Joe?
I mean, we got a little pop there on TSLS there, guys, as the market started to pull back in a little bit. But one thing to note here on Tesla, that we're still holding some of these trend lines relatively well. So going to look for those support systems to come into play here, guys. We'll just draw a basic one. If we crack through that, then I think we'll be okay. And you can see that just consistent throughout the whole session here. So a nice strong trend line here in Tesla. Are we going to break through it? Only time will tell. And we'll be patient. We'll hold on to this for as long as we can. And if we can catch this support level right here, then I'll take the majority of the position off, and yeah, that'll be it. It is now 2 o'clock, guys.
Oh boy.
Thank you very much, Obi. Thank you very much for joining in. We'll be here for the remainder of the day there, guys. So thank Obi, and thank you all for tuning in, staying with us throughout the day. But we're ready to send it off to Big Boys.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it as always. I'm not muted. Appreciate it.
I'm not muted. Am I muted?
No, I heard in my ear like somebody was muted.